gotta be bold and righteous to live. The flesh is exceedingly wicked, sin deceiving is vicious. Repentance needed to fix it. His mercy too exquisite to miss it. Just proceed to listen. Let's stick to the mission. Believe and receive His blessing. You see, blessings come from above. None of us deserve it. None of us is worthy. But we praise y'all for His mercy.
When I think of your mercy and all that you've done for me, hey, all I can do is stop and praise ya. When I think of your mercy and all that you've done for me, all I can do is stop and praise ya, praise ya, hey, praise ya. When I think of your mercy and all that you've done for me, hey, all I can do is stop and praise ya. When I think of your mercy and all that you've done for me, all I can do is stop and praise ya, praise ya, hey, praise ya.
We really gotta stop, like praise ya. Stop and praise the ancient of days. Teary-eyed with a smiling face. The praise you gave was already ordained. Stop and praise for keeping you in your lane. Give a praise for breaking off them chains. Before you let somebody steal your praise, think about the spirit in which they came. Think about the energy they gave. Is it worth it? Nope, never, no way. Kingdom we broke into a praise dance. I praise y'all for D4 hug daps. Praise Yahweh for the congregation. And I praise Him for the angels, the elders, and all their dedication. See this truth, it'll cut you, heal you, it'll make or break you. This is a spiritual walk, it's a spiritual ride. Just don't despise the chastisement when you get chastised. You a son, not a bastard, right? You gonna get chastised. It's a spiritual ride, just vibe. Yeah, just vibe. We gonna ride. All praises to them.
Shalom Facebook, Shabbat Shalom Facebook, Shabbat Shalom YouTube. Welcome to our prophecy class. Today we are in the book of Isaiah, chapter 52. But before we get started, does anyone have any questions? No questions? All right. Let's go ahead and get started.
Isaiah chapter 52, verse 1. Awake, awake, put on thy strength, O Zion. Put on thy beautiful garments, O Jerusalem, the holy city. For henceforth there shall no more come into thee the uncircumcised and the unclean. Shake thyself from the dust, arise, and sit down, O Jerusalem. Loose thyself from the bands of thy neck, O captive daughter of Zion. But thus saith Yahweh, you have sold yourselves for naught, and you shall be redeemed without money. But thus saith Yah, the Adonai Elohim, my people went down aforetime into Egypt to sojourn there, and the Assyrians oppressed them without cause. Now therefore, what have I here, saith Yahweh, that my people is taken away for naught? They that Isaiah chapter 52, verse 5. Now therefore, what have I here, saith Yahweh, that my people is taken away for naught? They that rule over them make them to howl, saith Yahweh, and my name continually every day is blasphemed. Therefore my people shall know my name. Therefore they shall know in that day that I am he that does speak, Behold, it is I. How beautiful upon the mountains are the feet of him that bringeth good tidings, that publishes peace, that bringeth good tidings of good, that publishes salvation, that saith unto Zion, Thy Elohim reigneth. Thy watchmen shall lift up the voice, with the voice together shall they sing, for they shall see eye to eye when Yahweh shall bring again Zion. Break forth into joy, sing together, you waste places of Jerusalem. For Yahweh hath comforted his people, he hath redeemed Jerusalem. Yahweh hath made bare his holy arm in the eyes of all the nations, and all the ends of the earth shall see the salvation of our Elohim. Depart ye, depart ye, go ye out from thence, touch no unclean thing, go ye out of the midst of her, be you clean that bear the vessels of Yahweh. For you shall not go out with haste, nor go by flight, for Yahweh will go before you, and the Elohim of Israel will be your real God. Behold, my servant shall deal prudently, he shall be exalted and extolled, and be very high. As many were as astonished at thee, his visage was so marked more than any man, and his form more than the sons of men. So shall he sprinkle many nations. The king shall shut their mouths at him. For that which had not been told them shall they see, and that which they had not heard shall they consider.
When you look at chapter 52 of Isaiah, what does that sound like? It sounds like a people that are not in their land, a people that are oppressed, and Yahweh's giving them hope that he's going to bring them back. So who else on earth is in this condition that we have now?
Mm.
We don't have anybody else on earth in that condition. Apparently, whoever these other people are, they're going to bring them back to Zion.
Right.
So they used to live there, but now they don't live there anymore. So we got to bring them back. That's why we got here in verse 11, depart ye, go you out from thence, touch no unclean thing, go you out of the midst of her, be you clean that bear the vessels of Yahweh. For you shall not go out with haste, nor go by flight, for Yahweh will go before you, and the Elohim of Israel will be your rear God. So these people apparently are not in their land. He's trying to get out of it. Wherever you are, get out. And come on back to where you belong. Yeah.
So we just like we are today, huh? We lost our land and we're losing our houses over in America.
Uh-huh.
The same thing.
Yeah.
Ain't that changed, have it?
No, but no, we're still a cursed people, bro.
You can buy all these big houses and end up being foreclosed, huh?
Yeah, because they can't tell what the economy gonna do.
Yeah.
So the house loses value. They realize they paid too much for it.
So we're supposed to go back where we were told to go back. Not like now, there's an opportunity window there for some people. A lot of folks are getting out of here now.
Yeah.
And there's someone.
It's just some people getting out of here, not except for black people.
Right.
Black people still think that this place still gonna be here, and everybody else see the handwriting on the wall.
Right.
Yeah, so Yahweh got to make us get up out of here.
That's right.
Right. Yeah.
Because we are stubborn people. We're used to this kind of lifestyle, and plus we are a meek people.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't respond aggressively.
Mm-hmm.
What we do is wait to see if things get better.
Mm-hmm.
But Yahweh got to pour his fear out on his people, according to Ezekiel, to make them get up out of here. Because they ain't gonna stay on otherwise. You got to beat your slave to make them move. Yeah, so that's the condition. We don't people in that condition. So then Yahweh's telling them, get out of there. It's not your place. Right? He still loves us, want to bring us back. So again, this is talking about an entirely different people. Nobody else on earth fit this description but us.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So it's talking directly to us in these days and times. So we can see it. We can see that there's somebody not in their land.
Mm-hmm.
They're in somebody else's land. So you tell them to come out that new people's land and come back to your own land. Right? And it also says, my people shall know my name. Well, all this time we can call him Lord and God.
Mm-hmm.
a law than God.
Law.
You know how we talk. So it's amazing that nobody else can see this. And that's why I say that this book is not for Christians, it's for people that are not in their land. What you gonna say, man?
Are we the vessels that are we the vessels that's been there?
Right,
Okay.
right. It says, verse 11, depart ye, go you out from thence, touch no unclean thing, go you out of the midst of her, be you clean that bear the vessels of Yahweh. Will that be us? Because we all we know are the ways of the heathen, did not know those ways of abomination. So what Yahweh is doing now is separating us from the ways of the heathen and letting us see ourselves how the heathen practice abomination. And it's disgusting for us to see this. And so Yahweh put that disgusting spirit, that spirit of disgust in us, because we see what the law said, we see what everybody else is doing. Yeah, so yeah, we should be offended by what we see here. We should be offended by what black people are off into, because
Mm-hmm.
what they've done is hitch their horse to the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party is all about immorality.
Good point, man.
Why would
Good
you?
point.
Why would you want to align yourself with people that are immoral?
Man, that's a good one. I like how you said that.
Yeah,
Hitch their horse to immorality.
right,
That's deep, bro.
right. So, and you can't change them.
That says a lot.
Hey, like I said yesterday, you you mentioned Trump name to black people, and look how they react.
They just nut up, man.
Yeah, yeah, because you want to have a civil conversation with them to see their side of the picture, but they don't want to do that. They want to just get mad that you want to hit you. Where'd that come from? You can't even sit down and discuss these things with people. Have a good conversation, get some things maybe misunderstood. We can be on the same page, but they don't want that. They got that much hate in them. Where they learn it from? White people. White people pull this thing off. But then you got people in the background you don't see, like George Soros. They're paying people to act like they're bad. Yeah, so these are all paid agitators, and black people are only suckers in the room. You got what's his name, Al Sharpton's getting big money to slam Trump, and black people believe Al Sharpton every time.
Yeah. You know, I bear witness to that. Me and Brother Moshe, we done said it about 2 or 3 times, right? That brother was in the emergency room, and we were just talking, and the brother got mad with Trump, but he lost his bank card, right? And he took it out on Trump.
He lost his what?
Bank card.
Bank card.
Yeah. And he took it out on Trump.
Well, hell yeah, it's Trump stole it.
And like you said, the first term, when Trump ran for office, black women said they were gaining weight because of Donald Trump.
That's right. They went on television.
I said, I'll be
They
damned.
said the reason we big is because of Trump.
That's deep.
Now, who thinks that way? Huh? Who thinks that way? Huh?
That's controlled by media.
Yeah, that's where they're getting it from. The media and the Democratic Party on the same page. Then you got Project Mockingbird that's still in there. They were supposed to disband them, but they're still there. So they're shaping the news for their purposes. And Trump is in the way.
You know what else? Whether Trump is right or wrong, and I tell people, he might be wrong. Why are you wasting your time hating him?
Right.
Running your blood pressure up.
Right.
What is all that about?
Yeah, well, again, that's television.
See, that's stupid.
Well, you put stupid in the dictionary, put black people face next to it. Then you understand what stupid actually looks like. Shalom, bro. Hey, Dale. Shabbat shalom.
It's just a waste of time. I mean, you can be doing something more constructive. And I was at Kroger's and I walked by a sister on the phone. That damn Trump. I was like, really, sister?
Yeah. Those people are unstable, man. You should engage in a conversation with them.
Yeah, I know.
Because they'll fly off the handle about anything, man. When you talk like that, when you get mad for little or no reason, they don't even know why they're mad at.
But, you know, I told you the other day, black people are dummies. they're being taught to hate Trump.
Right,
They've been taught to do
right,
that. They
right,
don't even realize what they've been taught.
right, right. It's mad. So it's all Trump fault. You stump your toe on the curb. Trump, Trump did that. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Those people who is blaming Trump, they also acting like they are witnesses to whatever he's done, but the witness that they represent is a false witness.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they can't even tell you what he's done.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You can't engage in a civil conversation with them.
That's right.
'Cause you want to sit down and talk.
Mm-hmm.
They want to fight. They ain't talking. They ain't talking about interested in talking. They want to fight you. How
Yeah.
dare you disagree with them?
Mhm.
Well, that's a sign of the country being torn apart.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Assyria and Syria. What's the difference in the people? Where they located today? Who are the people in those two areas?
Where?
Syria
Assyria and
and
Syria.
Assyria.
Assyria and Syria.
Syria and Syria.
Who are the
Yeah,
people
who
and
they
where they're
located today and
Who are the people?
located?
Are they
The Assyrians. The Assyrians, what we would call Gentiles,
Mm-hmm.
right? So we're looking at where they came from. We look at Nineveh, which is the
okay
capital of
around that
Assyria.
area?
So we're looking at around Iraq.
Okay,
That will be the last place the Assyrians were before the Babylonians came in and took over. So we're looking at now Assyria at the time was north of Jerusalem,
Mm-hmm.
mm,
right? So we get the prophecies of some people coming out of the north to come to destroy the land. And so they'll be talking about Assyria, and then you got the Babylonians coming in. After they destroyed Assyria, they came from the north to come and destroy Jerusalem. So that's the historical part of who these people are. Again, Assyria's gone, but Nineveh's still here. But again, it's in Iraq, what they call Iraq. Yeah.
So you know, when you say that, I said I attention before, but that means the Gentiles were still black during the time of the series. Cause I seen a relief that showed forget the king of Assyria, but he was a stroke of Kish, the city of Kish, and they all look black in a relief.
Oh yeah. Where you see that at?
I can't remember what I said. That's a good relief.
What I can do is Google it. Say
Right.
what did the Assyrians look like?
Right.
Yeah. I have to consider that the Assyrians, being Gentiles, are also black, right? So they hadn't gotten to that color thing yet. So with the Assyrian being black, see, when you think about Gentiles, you think about white people.
Right.
But there are other Gentiles that are not white. So if you look at the Assyrian, yeah, you're right about that. That area of the world, most everybody was the same color. People don't know that. But then who reads about Assyria?
Right.
Now you look at Syria. Now Syria is not the same as Assyria.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause, Assyria has in the land, that capital is Damascus.
Okay.
Right. So there are two different people, two different places. One is Assyria, one is Syria. Syria is still here today. So Assyria has to be on the spot on the spot when the Mashiach, when Yahweh brings people back home, so they can expand that territory to Damascus, according to Ezekiel. But right now, the Assyrians, they look white. Right now, when you go back in the book of Genesis, you run across the name. I think it was on one of Shem's boys, Aram, Aram.
Mm-hmm.
Aram is the same as Syria. I would
Okay.
say the Aram would be what we call Aramaic. The language that they spoke would be Aramaic, and that's why they called it Aramaic. Because it came from one of Shem's boys, Aram. Uh, but it was alongside Hebrew. They're speaking Hebrew too. So both of those are ancient languages, but now they can speak Assyrian, they can speak Aramaic, but they cannot speak Hebrew no more. So that's what the Mashiach was speaking. The disciples were speaking, and during the Gospels they were speaking in Aramaic. But the problem with that is people want to use an Aramaic form of the Mashiach name. They say Yeshua.
Yeah, I heard
Mm-hmm.
that too.
That's Aramaic.
Y-E-8.
Right.
Yeah, I
Mm.
heard that too.
Right. So the Yahweh, the angel wouldn't tell Mary's name is Yeshua. She was supposed to call his name Yeshua. But as we can see though, the internet has given you even more different names.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it leads to confusion, but we'll stick with Yeshua because Yeshua was here before the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you got to understand there's some influences on the internet that want you to think the way they think. So if you're not grounded in this, you're not steadfast in what you believe, you could change up. Like that brother came out there in the back of the alley, uh, bought him some money. Used to be here a long time ago. Kind of
Yeah,
heavy set black brother.
I know what you know.
Yeah, so he let slip that he believed in Yahuwah.
Mm-hmm.
Internet name.
Yeah, so I said, well, you got baptized here,
You
but
sure
yet
did.
you wouldn't worship another name. So I told him, I said, I can't give you nothing now. You're not part of this congregation. Yeah, because there ain't no people never playing games. Yeah, we talked about that yesterday about the game players, and he should have been ashamed of himself because he was baptized here and want to run them games on us. Once you go to the people that talk to you, you call it Yahuwah.
That's right.
Yeah, let Yahuwah save you.
That's right.
Yeah, why you coming to Yahweh's people? And that's what he's basing his begging on. Be Yahweh's people. No, you Yahuwah people. Go to Yahuwah people. Do you know if they got any congregation around that worship Yahuwah? Is it here in Atlanta? Yeah.
They're online. That's the people.
I think they kind of a ragtag group. Don't nobody really recognize them.
Are they big?
On the internet, they
Yeah.
big.
Huh?
Everybody been there. Most of a lot of people on the internet. You can see they'll get your internet.
Well, that's them. Yahweh gave him over to that. So, because Yahweh's name is holy, I'm not going to let everybody say his name.
Yourself want it.
Yeah.
Yourself.
Oh, now actually what you just mentioned a few moments ago about Yeshua is not Arabic. You say it wasn't?
That's not his name. Yeshua is Aramaic. It's not Hebrew.
For sure.
Okay.
Okay? Is that it?
I know you gave a definition about 4 or 5 years ago.
Uh-huh.
It says let his name be ceased,
Big what?
let his name be mentioned no more. It was something
I
similar.
might have been referring to the Talmud.
Yeah,
The
right.
Talmud had that they hated him in the Talmud. He said that he was bought in the excrement
Yeah.
and apologized for deceiving the people.
Yeah, I think what you said, let his name be
Yeah.
remembered no more.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's in a book. I don't know if it's Talmud or not, but yeah, with the word, I think it said, "Let his name not be mentioned anymore."
Right. Not remembered
What was
anymore.
that? I forgot what the word is, but yeah, I remember that. Yeah, yeah. Let's continue, brother. Oh yeah, verse 13 to 14, up to 15. That's a capsule in the description of what we're about to read in chapter 53. Because he says, "Behold, my servant," in verse 13, "Behold, my servant shall deal prudently. He shall be exalted and extolled and be very high. And as many were astonished at thee, his visage was so marred more than any man, and his form more than the sons of man." So we're looking at an aftermath of him being beaten before they nailed him to that star.
Mm.
They beat him with the whip. I think it might have been cat o' nine tails. The scourging, they call it scourging. And no, you sit down. You tell them folks to be quiet back there. Because he'll get out there and won't come back.
Oh man.
So it says, this again referring to the Mashiach, Uh, in verse 15, he says, "So shall he sprinkle many nations, and kings shall shut their mouths at him. For that which had not been told them shall they see, and that which they had not heard shall they consider." Well, that sounds just like it's in Isaiah chapter 6, Jeremiah chapter 16. It said the Gentiles shall come to you, to Yahweh, saying that we have what it say?
Inherit your
Yeah,
lies,
we
vanity.
inherited lies, vanity, and things where ain't no profit,
Mm-hmm.
right? Well, that's saying the same thing here. They don't know who we are.
Right.
They still think Christ is white.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be shocking when they see the Mashiach himself.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't know how to react to that because for generations they believe the same thing. And all of a sudden, man coming out of the sky is black,
Oh.
and the angels are black.
Mm.
They may just die just from the faint. Yeah, man.
Hey, on the internet, it's information pouring out all over the internet right now about all the characters, including the Messiah, that these are people of color.
Yeah.
It's all over the internet.
It's all over the internet.
Sure is.
Yeah, I've been seeing them. I've been seeing them.
Who put it out?
It's coming out from everywhere. White folk put it out there too.
Oh yeah, white folks all over it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got white folk that takes this new information seriously. They're on the internet. Some of them are crying because they are apologizing as best as they can to convince the original people, the Israelites. I'm sorry that my ancestors did this to you. Please forgive us.
I believe it.
Seen that
Hey,
too.
man,
Yeah, you can see they have a broken heart, a contrite spirit because
that's
what
what they, yeah.
their father did to us.
Mhm.
And they know that they're gonna have to answer for what their father did, just like we have to answer for what our father did.
Yes, sir.
They got to answer. So they coming to you for protection. They know the Messiah said salvation is of the Jews, so you better find you a Jew so you'll be protected. Just like Rahab.
Yeah.
He told Rahab to stay in your house. Get all your family up in there and don't come out. If you come out, blood gonna be on your head. So that's what the Gentiles have to deal with when it come to us. When they realize the truth, they'll come to us, and say, "Please help us, save us from this, from Yahweh's destruction."
You know, that fits in with your sermon yesterday. These crackers, they never owned slaves,
Yeah,
but they got to pay the cost for what their football. And a lot of these people, they'll try to help us. They'll do this and do that, but nonetheless, they got to pay for this.
yeah,
But then at the same time, we didn't have nothing to do with us being over here.
right,
We ain't have nothing to do with this.
right,
We ain't done nothing. No. Them slaves was the most harmless people.
yeah,
And then people come up in the 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s. Our people are harmless.
yeah,
It's just these guys walking around with their pants down that Gentiles really just don't like. But other than that, we ain't never done none of these people.
yeah. We're not the type of people who want to take over the government.
No.
So,
Boy, praying God. Good boy.
they probably figure that too. What we're gonna do with it? They let them have they government. We try to get along as much and better as we can. So again, this whole chapter 52 describes verse 13 through 15 describe the Mashiach and the fact that nations gonna bow themselves before him. Right. Go ahead, brother Seven.
Isaiah chapter 53, verse 1. Who have believed our report? And to whom is the arm of Yahweh revealed? For he shall grow up before him as a tender plant and as a root out of a dry ground. He has no form nor comeliness, and when we shall see him, there is no beauty that we should desire him.
How can this be JC? JC is a handsome man.
Mm-hmm.
I got that long hair. It's got that beard, that trim beard. Like you can't help but look because you look at, like I always say, if you showed up in a black church, you have to go to the clinic the next day. Go ahead, Steve.
And I just want to say something. I said something. Cracker is not a racist term.
Cracker.
Yeah, it's not a racist term.
Well, somebody done made it a racist term.
Yeah, but they did. But then we had a team called Atlanta Crackers, right?
Mhm.
Then we had another team called the Black Atlanta Crackers.
I know that about that.
Yeah, we had a team called the Black Atlanta Crackers.
Yeah.
And then,
My dad played for the
okay,
Mm.
they had a team called the Black Atlanta. And then, like we said, a cracker was somebody that cracked that whip on the plantation, right?
Yeah.
So I just wanted to get that out there.
Yeah,
And
when he whip that whip, it make a cracking sound.
yeah,
It's called crackers.
right.
But it never was a racial term.
No,
But
no.
they were the only ones using the whip, so they took it together as the same thing. But this here, when you look at the description of this man, then you can see that nobody wanted to be around him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man.
This is the chapter in Isaiah that is tripping up a lot of white evangelists or preachers, whatever you want to call it. When they come across this and actually consider what this is saying, a lot of the white preachers is saying, I think I'm gonna stop trying to preach. They just cut the ministry off because this right here is forcing them to deal with a reality that none of them had considered.
Now, who you talking about? White Christians?
Yeah, white, not
So,
well, white Christians, but mainly white preachers.
white who?
Preachers.
Preachers?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Well, they read this for themselves and they come to the conclusion that it's talking about the Mashiach.
Yeah.
Right? But black Hebrews, it's some of the Israelites do not believe it's talking about him.
Right.
So they believe it's talking about Israel.
Right.
Right. But it doesn't make sense the way it's written. This is talking about one individual.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So who is it talking then if it's talking about Israel?
Mm-hmm.
Like we'll see. Go ahead, Brother Seven.
Isaiah chapter 53, verse, what was that, 3?
Yeah.
He is despised and rejected of men, a man of sorrows and acquainted with grief, and we hid, as it were, our faces from him. He was despised, and we esteemed him not.
Now you look at Nicodemus. Nicodemus went to him by night.
That's
Yeah.
right.
You don't want to be seen with him. Right. So that fits his experience when you read in the Gospels of John that their lives were in peril because the Pharisees, the scribes and Pharisees wanted to kill him. So this same description right here. So it's prophesied to come. So people get upset at the Jews because the Jews killed Christ. That's what they say, right?
You're right.
Now, but when you look at it, he said, yeah, there's going to be a testimony against the Jews and the Gentiles. But what this is saying here is that it was prophesied for him to go through that. Just like we got in Psalm 22.
Mm-hmm.
It said, my God, why are you forsaking me? Well, he said that while he's tied up to that state. And so he's speaking through some of the prophets. And you got Psalm 22, you got Isaiah 49, Isaiah 49 and Isaiah 50, let me see here. Isaiah 50. Yeah, so he's speaking through the prophecies, the prophets, but he hasn't been manifested physically yet. So he's speaking from a timeless place. Well, space and time has no bearing, so he was already ordained from the foundation of the world uh, to be what he is. So now you can see him talking through some of these prophecies here. And what we have here in chapter 53 is showing you the ordeal he had to go through for our sake. Go ahead, Brother Seven.
Isaiah chapter 53, verse 4.
Uh-huh.
Surely he hath borne our griefs and carried our sorrows, yet we did esteem him stricken, smitten of Elohim, and afflicted.
Now in verse 4 it says, surely have borne our griefs. Who is this our? And carried our sorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Yet, and we did esteem him stricken, speaking of Elohim, and afflicted. Who is we? Who's our? Because the brothers don't believe, say this is Israel that's being afflicted. Well, who was this we then?
Mm-hmm.
Who is this our? So it doesn't add up. It's a clash of ideas. It's a clash of conclusions. This cannot be the whole nation of Israel. It's got to be one individual that was prophesied about the sins of the children of Israel and the rest of the world. And we have a record that actually happened. And it's still happening as we speak. Uh, Anybody that doesn't believe that he was manifested, we'll call the Antichrist according to the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
Did he not only carry our sin, like he carried our sorrows, downtrodden, and our he bore our griefs and carried our sorrows. Wouldn't that be downtrodden as well that he carried along with our sin? When he
Yeah,
was,
all that's included in what he had to go through.
yeah,
All the sin that the children of Israel had done, and all of the things that they had been going through, he had to take upon his shoulders and die for them. Mainly because the animal sacrifices wasn't doing no good.
right.
Because they could they could commit sin if they got enough cattle, enough sheep. They don't have to repent, so they can repeat the same sin the next day. Bring that animal up there, be forgiven of their sins. So Yahweh saw that wasn't doing no good, so he had to have a perfect sacrifice in the Mashiach himself. Now we know that some of the brothers don't believe that this is talking about Mashiach because Yahweh does not accept human sacrifices. But in order for Yahweh to save his people, he got to change their conscience.
That's right.
Yeah,
It's kind of like, Yahweh knew from the beginning, that animal sacrifices weren't going to work anyway.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
right.
So,
While they were out in the wilderness.
so I kind of wonder, is all this kind of like, because Satan knows what he knows, he doesn't know, I guess, know everything, because like, he tried to tempt the Messiah. He should have known he couldn't tempt the Messiah, you know what I mean? But he didn't, obviously, because he tried. So he don't know everything. So a lot of stuff that we go through is, I don't want to say not necessarily a thing between him and Satan, but like Yahweh and Satan, but like Satan doesn't understand and we don't understand. But like Yahweh knew the animal sacrifices weren't gonna work. You know what I mean? So he knew everybody not believing his son, but there would be no point in him coming and taking away the animal sacrifice if the animal sacrifice would work. He knew they weren't gonna work, especially not for rich people. So he said, a rich man, it's hard for him to go through the deal because they can keep making sacrifices.
Right.
Poor man had to sit there and work for a year to get him an animal, and then and become a servant for a long time, give him an animal sacrifice. So it's kind of like all this was set up from the beginning. You know what I mean? That like so it's kind of like we don't have, like you say, no free will because it been set up from the beginning. You know what I mean? Like this how this gonna go.
Yeah,
Satan don't know. He thinks he know. He know he's gonna. He know he's in, but he don't know all in between.
yeah,
So he think he got you, but he ain't got you. You know what I mean?
yeah. With the animal sacrifices, what we're saying here is the blood of that animal. That's what atone for your sin, right? So Yahweh needed a better sacrifice with that blood, because blood is atonement. A shed of blood is atonement for sin. So that's the final sacrifice, and that blood that He shed covered everybody. Because you need a covering, like on Yom Kippur. That means covering. So you need a covering of the blood, like people say, to wash in the blood of the lamb. Now you need that covering over you so you can approach unto Yahweh, so He can bring you back into the fold. Yeah, man.
Yeah, I was going to point out a major difference between the Aaronic, or not Aaronic, but the Levitical priesthood of the Old Testament and the Melchizedek priesthood. In the old priesthood, Levitical, a man could write a letter of divorce. Okay. But when the Mashiach came along and that was the creation of the Melchizedek priesthood, that you can no longer write a letter of divorce unless the woman is found to be fornicator.
Caught in
That's not the word.
caught in very act of adultery.
Yeah. So therefore, without that, the woman has more protection now under that priesthood, because our people basically found a loophole simply by writing a letter of divorce to get rid of that wife, and that does not fare well. The law had, in a sense, man found a way to twist it because of the animal sacrifice that they were committing. What's the word I'm looking for? Committing.
Adultery or something?
Yeah.
Committing sins?
Yeah. That's what I'm trying to.
Well, it's going into the law, right? In the law, to atone for your sin, you got to bring an animal up to that altar, to the priest. And he got to shed that animal blood, sprinkle that blood all around the altar. Because how is blood defined in the Bible? The life of all flesh.
Yeah.
It's a life of all flesh. So what you're doing, you cover it with life, right? So that you can go to the giver of life and ask for forgiveness for whatever your sin is. So it's all mechanical though, because like I said, you can have a big farm with a whole bunch of animals, but you don't have to repent. It didn't do anything to change your conscience.
Exactly.
So now we're looking at this man's sacrifice here. We got his story right here. We got him all through the book, showing that he's talking about his own destruction, his own resurrection. So Yahweh's giving us his story and why it was necessary for this man to die. Why was it necessary for him to shed his blood? Because like we said before, Yahweh does not accept animal sacrifice, human sacrifices. That's a hang up with some of the old covenant brothers, because they're looking at him as a human sacrifice. Yeah, but Yahweh really didn't have any choice, because blood had to be shed to cover our sins.
Sure. Yeah.
And one of the things that important about this blood is that this blood is timeless.
Yes, sir.
Up until he returns, because he can't die anymore.
Right.
Right. So that moment when that blood was shed, that covered not only the sins of Israel, but the sins of the world.
Yeah.
So as long as they believe in it, that takes belief.
That's the key.
Right. So if you don't believe in it, then the blood is useless to you.
Yes, sir.
Right. So what happens is when they translated this book, they changed the Mashiach name to resemble their God. And that's the most powerful name on earth.
That's right.
It really is.
It is the most powerful. And Yahshua is not a powerful name.
Yeah.
Well, at the time, he wasn't a powerful person. All the work he did was of his father.
Right.
Right. But when he returns, yeah, he's going to have all the power. He already has authority over heaven and earth now.
Yes, sir.
So it's not like we go straight to him. We still got to go to the Father through his son. Right. So he's going to be represented. Now, all through Isaiah, it said that Yahweh's going to be sitting on the throne. We're going to finally see Yahweh. But you can't see someone that is everything. How can you quantify? How can you put him in a form? How can you say? How can you say he sounds like this or sounds like that? You're not going to hear him. You're not going to see him, right? Because he is all of this. You can't pigeonhole him or quantify him in the form that we're used to. We could describe you as whatever you look like, but you can't do Yahweh like that.
Yes, sir.
Right. So Yahweh sent his only begotten Son to sit on the throne so he can do the works that he can rule over his people. Because if you notice, Yahweh didn't really deal with his people no more. So he sent his son. By the time the Mashiach showed up, they had been out of the Persian Empire. The Greek Empire and the Roman Empire was on the scene then. And they didn't have any prophets.
Right. They didn't have no
There were no
prophets.
prophets. Yeah.
Right.
So in the kingdom of Elohim, will we like on a spiritual level, like getting spiritual eyes and ears, will we be able to we're gonna be able to see Elohim. We see it like his spiritual form or something like in the kingdom of Elohim. Like he have like a, I guess not like necessarily a physical form. I guess who knows how we gonna look, but like a spiritual form that we be able to recognize on a spiritual level. In the kingdom of
Recognize
Elohim,
what?
recognize Yahweh. In the kingdom of
Oh
Elohim,
yeah.
be able to see it. Or he just give us a form that we can see.
Yeah. All we have is his word,
Right.
right? So the word um, doesn't have a physical form. It's just letters and words put together. So that proves that you can't see him. You can't. The only way you can see him is through this word, right? You see what kind of person he is, and that it's not about his beauty; it's about him existing, right? So that existence, his existence, is the reason what we see today. All the trees and all the animals, all of it.
Mm-hmm.
That is of Yahweh. So that is who Yahweh is. The sky, the whole earth, and everything therein. That's Yahweh. So you can't make a sculpture of that. You can't make an image of that. Yeah.
So when we look at creation, his creation, and he gave us first shot at it, but we couldn't keep the commandments. And then he gave the nations a shot at the whole creation for 25, 50 or 2050 years or something like that. And he's given us an insight on what not to do to destroy his creation, his new creation, and which going to be obedience and righteousness, going to be his image.
Is that door locked?
That one?
Yeah. And the door.
Somebody came up.
Yes. I see the crew up in here. Circle the wagons, man.
That's good. That's a good point. Good point. Okay.
They went down.
Okay.
That's out.
Yeah, they came up here. Somebody ran them out with.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
It's happened before. It's gonna
Ain't no
happen.
white folks coming up in here.
Yeah. I hate for them to come up here, man. Because we're not used to it. I don't want to offend them. I want them to feel welcome here.
Right.
Yeah, but some of these folk ain't used to that.
Yeah, right about that.
So I have to take that into consideration too. Notice how fast that brother jumped out that chair. He like get ready.
See, you don't realize what you always said. My house gonna be a house of prayer for all people, right?
Yeah,
Now.
man.
Yeah, right.
That's right. It's salvation of the Jews. Why you making it hard to get to the Jews?
If we're gonna be that belligerent toward people, who we gonna rule over?
That's my point. You got to get that thing straight now.
Right.
All these people ain't your enemy.
Nah.
So they're going to be coming to you asking for salvation. You can't turn them down because they believe like you believe.
Right.
All right. So why you got animosity against these people? Yeah, man.
But the Messiah, did you hear what I said earlier about my connection with the Gentiles destroying the earth and us not being able to, us being that being our example, not to deal the way they did with God's creation.
No, I didn't hear that. Now I was interrupted by the people going by. They looked in here. I said, "Yeah, but let's see what that's all about." But yeah, I agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah, man.
I often consider what the Messiah told his disciples that in his words, he said, I have other sheep that is not of this fold.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
I've considered that whenever I get ready to present this word to a Gentile.
Well, that was a thing. That was an issue back in the day of the apostles because the Jews didn't like the Gentiles either.
Mm-mm.
Right. So we got the same animosity towards them today.
Yeah, that ain't changed.
So we know we can look back and see why black people got this problem with white people because of that history. But the Jews had a code of conduct and a code of law that they didn't mingle with any other nation. So it was against the law for them to come onto our house back in the days.
Right.
So you're talking about somebody prejudiced. I follow with prejudice.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, yeah, man.
I try to tell people sometimes, same white people that was at Michael Vick about them dogs and save the wells and save the trees. They're the same white people like don't treat the slaves so hard. The abolitionists, you know what I mean? They were like try to teach them how to read, teach them, you know what I mean? All white folks ain't bad, you know what I mean? All white folks ain't bad.
True.
I had more black people try to kill me than white people. I ain't had no black people try to kill me. You know, that's why all white folks ain't bad. You know what I mean?
All of them.
But you right, Elder. Back when I was coming up, I was born. Me and you, brother Yaakov, Elder had been around. We was born on the edge of Jim Crow, right? In the our people were suspicious of white people. We just didn't want to have nothing to do with them.
Right.
Until that mess came along with King and all them folks.
Right.
Our people don't want to be involved with that mess.
Yeah.
We just want to stay among ourselves.
Yeah, I know, but the damage is done.
Yeah, I know.
Yes, sir.
It had to go down that way. We had to be destroyed as a colored people. So out of the ashes, he could bring up the children of Israel.
Praise y'all.
Right.
Praise God. It ain't like they didn't try to stay out our neighborhood back then because I remember all the way up to the 70s, they was coming in our neighborhood, walking up and down our streets, selling stuff,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and henceforth we even had white mailmen back in those days. So, you know, it wasn't like we was a thorn in their side. They were more
No.
a thorn in our side coming in. You know, a lot of them were very disrespectful when they came in our neighborhoods.
Yeah.
We had to walk on eggshells growing up through Jonesburg and our grandpa.
Man, people my age,
Yeah.
I'm 72 back when I was born, they didn't trust some people.
Yeah.
And they didn't like King for what he did.
Right.
They say, man, we don't want no part of that mess.
Yeah, they ain't like that. Great.
Leave us alone.
Yeah, well,
It was a double sided fight in our neighborhood because a lot of people, especially those ones out there in y'all neighborhood, when y'all moved out there in Harper, Cascade, in that area, they didn't care. They really didn't care too much for Maynard.
No.
They didn't want Maynard sitting up there.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I remember the projects.
Yeah.
I was born on Fair Street. I don't know if y'all know what Fair Street is.
I know where.
By the colleges.
Yeah. Buttermilk block. Yeah.
So we moved over to Carver Home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they kept them apartments up. Now, they didn't have no carpets back in the days.
No.
All you had was cement.
Right.
Up the stairs to the bedroom.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had hard floors.
Yes, sir.
Fall down them bad boys, that's you. They can't afford no doctor. So you had to be careful. You had to learn fast, not to fall down them stairs.
Thanks.
Huh?
In Florida, we had Tommy Groove pine, basically, but depending on the area you in, though.
Concrete.
Was the project?
Concrete, he talking about. Yeah, I'm just talking
Yeah,
about
those
concrete
are on
that you mopped. And, you know, it was wood. Time goes into the groove and it locks, just like engineered wood today, but it's thicker, 3/4 inch.
yeah. What's that street over there? But came going past the stadium, going toward Southeastern Fair. You remember Southeastern Fair?
We talking about Lakewood?
Not Lakewood. What street goes into Lakewood?
Pryor Street.
What?
Pryor.
Pryor Street.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pryor Street. That's the one I'm talking about. Pryor Street.
With Pryor Road on one end and Pryor Street on the other end.
Yeah. Well, the one that came past our neighborhood, past Slater.
Yeah.
Remember that's what Slater was,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But that was Pryor Street or Pryor Road. Pryor Street, right?
No,
So-
Pryor Road is going to Lakewood. Pryor Street is going downtown.
Yeah, he right. He right.
Well, nevertheless, it went past Carver Homes,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
right? And I remember back in them days, they had trolley cars.
Yeah, I remember that.
That's really old.
Yeah, right up down stood in George Avenue. The tracks used to
They used to run over there.
Yeah.
Before they finally had
Yeah.
started to own.
Yeah, they still got them tracks down there. So
Yeah.
people don't know what those tracks were for. I used to see them trolley cars, man, with the antenna sitting up on top,
Yeah.
hitting them wires. Young folks don't know what that was about
That
back
thing
then.
they got run by Grady and Grady and one run by close
That's
by
a new
Grady.
one.
The little, yeah. Remember that is? That's
Oh yeah,
You're
yeah,
talking about Mercedes model now, right?
yeah. But that was life back in them days. We stayed on our side of town. They stayed on their side.
That's right.
Everybody's fine, you know. One about getting shot, and them young boys out there in gangs and that. They had a playground for us. And all the boys in the neighborhood would come into that playground, wrestle, shoot marbles, do all those things, man. We all got along. They used to throw rocks at each other.
Yeah.
I forgot about them rocks.
Yeah, they throw rocks at you in a minute, man. And from at least 2 blocks away, they'll throw a rock. One will hit me. They can throw it 2 blocks away, and I run it, trying to outrun it. I was looking back at it. I said, "Oh, yeah, I got it. It got me, man. What the hell that happened?" See, that type of thing burned in your memory, man. So you always remember that. That was something crazy. How did he know he gonna hit me like that? And I'm on the run.
Brother, we can throw them rocks.
We were
Yeah.
soapbox car. Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, them days gone now, but praise God. That's part of who we are today. We had those experiences. All right. Let's go back to the chapter, verse 7.
Isaiah chapter 53, verse 5. But he was wounded for our transgressions, he was bruised for our iniquities. The chastisement of our peace was upon him, and with his stripes we are healed.
Now, again, who is this we?
Right,
If this is Israel, who is this we?
right.
You see what I'm saying? So it doesn't add up that they say that it was talking about Israel here instead of the Mashiach. So this fits him more than all Israel. Because you can't describe who this we is. Who is this we that he suffered these things? Now, Israel has always been a sinful people, right? But Israel is not going through this right here. This is one person going through this.
Good point.
So that we can singularly look at this person that bearing our iniquities. So he said here, verse 5, but he was wounded for our transgressions, he was bruised for our iniquities. The chastisement of our peace was upon him, and with his stripes we are healed. So he took all the punishments according to the law, all the punishment that the law says, it took upon himself.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So now we see all the judgments of the children of Israel, even unto death, put upon this man.
at the top of this, right in the book, he says the victorious sacrifice of Christ, Isaiah 53. And it's got a reference, First Peter 2:24 through 25.
Hmm.
So I was just,
He's a sinless man in those verses.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's a sinless man here.
Right.
But that's what Yahweh wanted, because it's still going back to the law. Yahweh should bring me the perfect, unblemished sacrifice. Do not bring me a blemished sacrifice.
Mm.
The Messiah never committed sin, so he was unblemished.
Mm-hmm.
He will be the perfect sacrifice, the sacrifice for the sins of his people. So it all is actually according to the law.
Mm-hmm.
But you act like Yahweh can't do things according to the law the way he wants them done. That's the issue that the old covenant brothers have with this, because Yahweh does not accept human sacrifices.
So when John the Baptist presented him as Lord, this is the Lamb,
The Lamb of God to take away the sin of the world, right? So John the Baptist was told to look for him, because you're going to see him.
Either way.
Because John the Baptist began the ritual of baptizing. And so he said, when you see this person get baptized, you see the Spirit coming down upon him like a dove, and that's him. Right? That's how I recognize him. But only John the Baptist could see that, showing once again that he does fit the definition of a prophet. All the people took him as a prophet also. So Yahweh was speaking to John the Baptist, so that he warned the people that the Mashiach is on the way. Right? They finally showed up, baptized, and John saw the Spirit was going upon him. So he said, "That's the one there." Yes.
That was the spirit of Elijah.
What now?
That was the spirit of Elijah on John the Baptist.
The spirit of who?
Elijah.
Elijah?
Yeah.
On John the Baptist?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
It can come first.
Yeah.
So when they said they had found the Mashiach, I forget who I think Matthew or whatever, but I found him, but they say he found the Mashiach. They had got that from John the Baptist.
No, when you talk about John chapter 1, they found the Mashiach, Philip found him.
Right, Philip found him, yeah. So they got that from hearing John the Baptist talking about he's on his way. Kind of like, I'm trying to put together, like, how would they?
Well, okay, let's go and see. Let's go to John chapter 3, chapter 1. Now, what we're about to read here is after his baptism. All right. So pick it up at John chapter 1, verse 35, verse 7. And read all the way down to 51.
John chapter 1, verse 35. John chapter 1, verse 35. Again, the next day after John stood and two of his disciples, and looking upon Yeshua as he walked, he saith, Behold the Lamb of Elohim. And the two disciples heard him speak, and they followed Yeshua. Then Yeshua turned and saw them following, and saith unto them, What seek ye? They say unto him, Rabbi, which is to say, being interpreted, Master, where dwellest thou? He saith unto them, Come and see. They came and saw where he dwelt, and abode with him that day, for it was about the 10th hour. One of the two which heard John speak and followed him was Andrew, Simon Peter's brother. He first found his own brother Simon and saith unto him, We have found the Messiah, which is, being interpreted, the anointed one. And he brought him to Yeshua. And when Yeshua beheld him, he said, Thou art Simon, the son of Jonah. Thou shalt be called Cephas, which is by interpretation a stone. The day following, Yeshua would go forth into Galilee and find a Philip and saith unto him, Follow me. Now Philip was of Bethsaida, the city of Andrew and Peter. Philip found of Nathanael and saith unto him, We have found him, of whom Moshe in the law and the prophets did write, Yeshua of Nazareth, the son of Joseph.
Now you see where they got that from. They knew the law and the prophets. They knew Moshe. They knew that the prophets prophesied about this man right here. So when they said of John the Baptist, saying what he was saying about the one coming that's greater than me. I'm not worthy to actually foot his sandals. I'm paraphrasing, but nevertheless, they knew Moshe, and they were holding out hope that whoever that was would show up in their time. So all through the time when Moshe brought it up to this point here, they were looking for this Messiah. So then Isaiah talked about him, uh, and Ezekiel. Let me see, Ezekiel say something about it? Yeah, yeah. When it talked about Yahweh going to destroy all those armies coming up to Jerusalem, that'll be the Mashiach. Um, and Zechariah talks about him. So that's why they say Moshe and the prophets spoke of. So they knew what was being said. So this must be the guy right here, right? But he hadn't done any miracles with them yet. But they did remember John the Baptist saying they saw the spirit of Yahweh coming upon him, rest upon his shoulder like a dove. So John knew who that was. And now these people here, they've seen him. They saw what happened. And so they know who he is now. So they realize that's who they've been looking for right there all along. They was looking for some virgin to conceive without a man. They're looking for that too. So that went down with Mary, and now he's 30 years later. Now he shows up and say, "Yeah, that's him." Right, go ahead, brother. Did I get that for you?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, brother. We don't have to read it any further.
Okay.
Let's go. Let's go back to Isaiah.
Isaiah chapter 53, verse 6.
Yeah.
All we like sheep have gone astray. We have turned every one to his own way, And Yahweh have laid on him the iniquity of us all. He was oppressed and he was afflicted, yet he opened not his mouth. He is brought as a lamb to the slaughter, and as a sheep before her shearers is dumb, so he openeth not his mouth. He was taken from prison and from judgment. And who shall declare his generation? For he was cut off out of the land of the living. For the transgression of my people was he stricken.
Mm-hmm.
And he made his grave with the wicked and with the rich in his death, because he have done no violence, neither was there any deceit in his mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Yet it pleased Yahweh to bruise him.
Mm-hmm.
He hath put him to grief. When thou shalt make his soul an offering for sin, he shall see his seed, he shall prolong his days, and the pleasure of Yahweh shall prosper in his hand. He shall see of the travail of his soul and shall be satisfied. By his knowledge shall my righteous servant justify many, for he shall bear their iniquities. Therefore will I divide him a portion with the great, and he shall divide the spoil with the strongs, because he hath poured out his soul unto death, and he was numbered with the transgressions, and he bare the sin of many, and made intercession for the transgressors.
So he didn't die for everybody.
Right.
He died for many. Right. But when it says here in verse 7, he was oppressed and he was afflicted, yet he opened not his mouth. He was brought as a lamb to the slaughter, and as a sheep before his shearers is dumb, so he opened not his mouth. Now, if I remember, according to the Gospels, he did speak to his mother, right, and said, "Mother, look at one of the disciples. Behold, it's your son now." And he was carrying on a conversation with the two thieves on the other torture states. So what does it mean? Say he never opened his mouth. Yeah.
I think like when he was getting beat, going through all that, he didn't cry. When he was getting scourged, he didn't cry out, and he didn't make no noise. Like I guess could I go through some time that movement, Passion of Christ? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He didn't cry out. They just kept beating him because he wouldn't cry out. You know what I mean?
Well, look at read that again. It says he was oppressed and he was afflicted, yet he opened not his mouth. He is brought as a lamb to the slaughter, and as a sheep before her shearers is dumb, so he opened not his mouth. Now, yeah, of course, a sheep don't say anything while you're shearing it, because he's a sheep. But it goes beyond the beating that he received. It goes to the point where they told lies on him, but he never denied it. Right? That's why I say he didn't open his mouth. They had to find somebody to tell lies so that they feel that they're doing this legally to kill a man for saying that he's the son of God. Yeah, so they're talking about his testimony. He didn't say nothing against it. Right? He could have saved himself, but he didn't. So that's what that meant. Also, let's see here. In verse 10, it says, "Yet it pleased Yahweh to bruise him, he hath put him to grief. When thou shalt make his soul an offering for sin, he shall see his seed, he shall prolong his days, and the pleasure of Yahweh shall prosper in his hand." Who is his seed? Because I don't recall reading whether Mashiach was married and had children. So who is his seed?
Yes. A seed would be a new creature, right?
Well, considering that spirit as in him, he could not have produced seed
Right.
to impregnate someone. So what is this? Who is this seed we're referring to here?
Those who've been baptized.
Those that have been baptized in the name of Yahshua
Mhm.
HaMashiach. It's born again. These are the born again people. So there would be metaphorically a seed of the Mashiach, because he's told the birth process of them. If you're going to follow him, you got to go through this process of being born again.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're born again, now you believe in a man that told you you got to be born again. So that would qualify as the seed.
So if you've been baptized in the Mashiach, all things are new, right?
Right.
You'd be a new creature.
A new
That's where that's where I would come
Yeah,
from.
that's the same thing.
Yeah.
Right. So again, it's talking about things that old covenant cannot understand.
No, man.
So it really wasn't meant for them. So the strange thing about it is that white Christian believe this too. It's talking about the Mashiach.
But you know what, Elder? With old covenant Israel, I know they don't have the spirit, but their misunderstanding come from mostly not even reading.
Yeah,
That's where, to me, that's where it come from.
yeah.
More so than because they don't. You asked about Isaiah 53. Most of them never even read that.
Yeah,
They never read that.
I know. What's the point of being an Israelite? Let's tell you how to be an Israelite.
They dabble and dabble surely in the Torah. I give them that. But when we come to them prophets, man, they can't. I never ran into a brother that did not believe in the Messiah. Actually, talk about the prophets. He didn't talk about Christ. He didn't deal with none of that. And then when it come to Peter and Paul, there you go with that Peter and Paul stuff again.
Now what they do to deal with the law?
Yeah, they kind of dibbling in that. When you look at these holy days we just kept, right? Well, they kind of fumbling around with that because they dealing on Esau's time because they don't keep the new moon. They had to get the source of their holy days. They had to get it from Esau.
Yeah, well, that's old covenant, though, isn't it?
Right.
Well, that means they don't know how to calculate time.
Right.
Like you deacons, y'all calculate pretty good these days.
Yeah. Well, you got to include me in that too. Yeah. But Elder, they don't. If you ask them, I run into Israelites and I ask them, "Do you keep the new moon?" What is that?
They're just Israelites in name only, not in practice or no in customs. So they don't understand that you got to keep the Israelite. You got to keep this law, right? You got to walk in the law. You got to do those things that are contained in the law because that's your culture. So if you're an Israelite, what culture are you practicing? Right? Because your culture written down, easy to follow. All you got to do is do what they tell you to do. And that's your culture right there. But again, these are people that are Israelites in name only. And so you can expect them not to understand what the book is saying. Some, like I mentioned before in one of my sermons, some of them even know what tribe they came from. How is that possible? You mean you kept a log while you was a slave in the bottom of that boat to write down everyday experiences
Bad boys.
while you're a slave, and somehow that stood the test of time. So you know who you are now. Hey, I'm not going to argue with them. If they want to believe that, let them believe that, man.
Yeah.
Because we don't know what tribe we come from. All we know, close we can come to the house of Judah that are here. And so, what tribe would come in the house of Judah, Benjamin, Levi, or Judah, we don't know. That's going to be straightened out in the wilderness.
Goes back to what you said, brother. That's what Yahweh gave them, so we can't argue with him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He gave them that.
Yeah, they can't help themselves, man. That's why people gonna understand. How come you Israelites can't come together? First of all, it's stupid to come together now. We can't come together now. So Yahweh gave each of these Israelite congregations different doctrines to go by. So we can't go by what another congregation goes by. Some folks want to call on Yahuwah, some folks want to keep Yahweh, some want to say Yahwishi, whatever that is. So you ever heard that?
Yahwishi?
Yahwishi.
Wow.
You ever heard that?
I'm old school, brother.
I'm old school too.
Yeah, I just remember Yahweh. I'm like you, what them brothers do in them other camps.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah, no. We can't do what the civil rights workers did, made themselves a big target for the government to destroy. So they gave us different doctrines, so they can't look at us as one monolithic group, like the civil rights movement. It was easy to kill off the leader. The civil rights movement fell apart. But with us, we don't really pose any threat. We don't say, well, we demand the government do this, we demand the government do that. We don't do that. Now we got some brothers like to exhibit themselves, like the IUIC brothers walk around with marching through downtown with a purple thing, the purple clothes on. But that was in in London. I think it was in London.
In London?
Yeah, marching up the street, barking out orders like they're in the military. You live, you live. What are you trying to say?
It won't be seen.
They got sergeants,
Yeah,
captains. They got military ranking.
yeah, they got a military setup. But for what?
To be seen.
Yeah, but you're not trained. Yeah, there you go, bro. He really wants that.
Gotta have it.
I'm not gonna kill it. I'm just getting a sweat.
You fix him one?
Huh?
You
Yeah.
fix him one?
Nah,
Legionnaires.
no, I don't
You
need,
want?
no, I don't need
Okay.
one now.
You were drinking before we got here.
I sobered up before we started.
See, that's old school. You can sober up that quick. That's old school, right? You finished that up, right, brother?
No. Supposed to Isaiah 53 verse 10.
Yeah, we did that. Did 10. That's the wine. It's 11.
Okay. See, I'm still there.
See, that's what happened when you stop drinking.
Isaiah chapter 53 verse 11. He shall see all the travail of his soul and shall be satisfied. By his knowledge shall my righteous servant justify many, for he shall bear their iniquities. Therefore will I divide him a portion with the great, and he shall divide the spoil with the strong, because he hath poured out his soul unto death, and he was numbered with the transgressors, and he bare the sin of many and made intercession for the transgressors. I finished that off.
Yeah, I know.
Y'all trying to set me up.
Uh,
See, that wasn't right.
That's why I say you need a drink. You don't know what we're talking about, so don't misunderstand that. All right, so you might be talking about water.
Don't put my name out there because I might lose my Social Security check. They might cut it off. Don't put it out there.
Now, you know better than to tell me something like that. You know I'm gonna do the opposite. He trying to set me up. You know what I'm gonna do.
I gotta have my money every month, man.
I hear you.
I'm on welfare. I gotta have my money.
I feel your
Give
pain.
him some booze down.
Go ahead, man. I ain't gonna do that to you.
That's it.
Chapter 54.
Oh, you're gonna 54. All right. Isaiah 54, verse 1. Sing, O barren, thou didst not bear. Break forth into singing and cry aloud, thou that didst not travail with child. For more are the children of the desolate than the children of the married wife, saith Yahweh. Enlarge the place of thy tent, and let them stretch forth the curtains of thine habitation. Spare not, lengthen thy cords, and strengthen thy stakes. But thou shalt break forth on the right hand and on the left, and thy seed shall inherit the Gentiles, and make the desolate cities to be inhabited. Fear not, for thou shalt not be confounded, thou shalt not be ashamed, neither be thou confounded, but thou shalt not be put to shame. For thou shalt forget the shame of thy youth, and shalt not remember the reproach of thy widowhood any more. For thou makest thine husband, Yahweh of hosts is his name, and thy Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel. The Elohim of the whole earth shall he be called.
No. Who is this referring to? In verse 5, for thy maker is thine husband, Yahweh of hosts is his name, and thy Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel. The Elohim of the whole earth shall he be called. So yeah, they're gonna recognize Yahweh as being the Father that Mashiach was referring to. And so he's the creator of all things, so they're gonna acknowledge him as being the God of the whole world. But right now they don't. Go ahead, brother.
They go back. Now that's a different thing. I was gonna say in that day that should be one Yahweh, his name one, but that go back to our people because
Right.
we call them like we doing now, calling
Yeah.
Yahweh by different names.
Yeah, like they do today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh
So
Go ahead.
So, Elder, at this time, would the language be restored also?
The what now?
The language.
At this time, we're talking about this prophecy here.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. You're gonna turn to the people in a pure language. Yeah, that's where we can speak Hebrew from that point on.
Right.
And the thing about that is, when you speak in Hebrew, it may not be a language we have to learn. It just put it in us right then and there.
Mm-hmm.
Just like they did at Pentecost and Feast of Weeks.
Mm-hmm.
They heard the great works of Yahweh in the language of those people that they came from different provinces. All those, none of them spoke Hebrew anymore. Yeah.
Okay, would this happen in the wilderness?
So in chapter 54,
Right.
no, um, this will be gathering when he gathers the people back into that land.
Okay.
So that'll be after the wilderness
Okay,
experience.
so like when it talks about in Ezekiel, it talks about the rebels being purged. What about the different names at that time? Because you know some people hold to the names, and one thing I see on the internet is the deception of white folks, because white folks know what the name is, but you got a lot of them saying Yahuwah too, which is that deception.
Yeah, I've seen them.
I know you're being deceptive because
Mhm.
you know what the name is. Y'all always know what the name is. Why y'all trying to use this name to deceive our people? Like y'all know what time it is. You know what the name is. When white folks say the mother name, I know you're being deceptive, but to our people that's in these other names, would they fall under the rebels because they're using them different names?
Look at what does it say about who's going to be purged out? The rebels and the
Right.
transgressors.
Right.
Right. So mainly talking about black Christians, black Muslims,
Okay.
because none of them keep the commandments, so they're all transgressors. And the rebels would be those people that are no different than the fathers when they rebel against Yahweh and worship other gods. Yeah, that would be. Now, as far as names are concerned, I don't think it will boil down to names.
Okay, so them other names will be able to come into the kingdom?
No,
Okay.
because you're going to have one name coming out that wilderness.
Okay.
Right. So however that's going to happen, we don't know, but you're not going to have all these different names that we call upon him now. So how that's going to change? Will Yahweh kill him? What will he do to cause them to come back to Yahweh's name?
That's what I'm saying.
Keep in mind, you're going to have angels out there.
Right.
Right. So the angels are going to be the one that's guiding us along the way, just like they did with Moshe and the children of Israel. They're going to be a guide that guiding us along the way. So, for instance, now Walt already got the Hebrew calendar for the next 3 years, and we're going to be at the middle now. We always align our calculation with the solar calendar. We're not going to have that this time. We don't know how the timeline is going to go. We don't know. We won't know when the holidays begin and when they end. And we got to look at the fact that the Sabbath day. But the only way we can calculate the Sabbath today is by the Gregorian calendar, because it's the seventh day of the week, always the seventh day of the week. So where does the new moon come in at? Because you got those people that believe in that movable Sabbath, right? So the first day of the new moon is the first day. And so the 7 days later, you got the Sabbath. Well, that could fall on any day of the week, right? From month to month. So how do you keep order when the Sabbath keeps moving? You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's going to be explained to us out there in that wilderness, so won't be so hesitant of keeping the holidays on the right day. So that we we'll have that already straightened out, and we'll see what the angels say.
Like with the angels, like some people might, okay, you say it's Yahweh, Yahweh. You got some people might just say, I'm gonna stick the name I've been using. You know what I mean? They would consider it as rebel. You think?
Not when they come out of that wilderness. Somehow they're going to change, and Yahweh will allow His holy name to come out of their mouth. But right now, He won't let that happen. Now they don't know. Now the rebels are the people that know they're doing wrong, right? And the transgressors are the ones that are religious people, right? So they've been told that the law been nailed to the cross, so they would qualify as transgressors. So, but the rebels, yeah, they know they wrong, bro. Yeah, you know, some black people just want to start a fight with somebody. Yeah, so you got to take them out. You gonna say something, Cal?
As far as the Hebrew that we'll be speaking out in at that time, during this time. Uh, and you brought up the Pentecost, the mighty rushing wind. The mighty rushing wind came in and closed the tongue. And when Yahweh said He's going to pour out His Spirit on us, is that when we're going to pick up the languages and all of that?
We're going to be speaking Hebrew in the kingdom of heaven. Now, after the 1,000 years is up, He's going to pour His Spirit out upon all flesh. So not only will we have that Spirit poured out upon us, but everybody else at the end of that 1,000 years. That would be one of the steps that'll be taken for you to get from this old earth to the new earth. It doesn't tell you any other way that you're going to get from this old earth to the new earth. We don't know. But part of the process is the Spirit being poured out on all flesh at the end of that 1,000 years. Yeah. We don't know much more after that. Okay. Go ahead, Brother Study.
Isaiah chapter 54. What was that?
6.
6, okay. For Yahweh have called thee as a woman forsaken and grieved in spirit, and a wife of youth, when thou wast refused, saith thy Elohim. For a small moment have I forsaken thee, but with great mercies will I gather thee.
Well, you telling me nearly 2,000 years later, you call that a small moment? You see how time doesn't mean anything to Yahweh?
Crazy,
He said, I just left you for a moment.
yeah.
We've been without you for thousands of years.
A day is like 1,000 years.
Yeah.
Like a day.
Yeah, no, but that's the way how Yahweh look at time. It doesn't mean anything. It's just a moment for him. But we're living in a linear existence, and time goes forward all the time. We can't go back. So generations have to die before we qualify for a moment.
How can you time mean anything to you when you created it?
Yeah,
He created time.
yeah,
Like we sitting here waiting for this 400-year captivity to be over with. But it's just like that to him, right?
right.
But we've been waiting. Even me and you, when he got in his word, say, man, you know what? It's been a long time.
Yeah,
When this thing going down?
yeah,
Yeah.
I know, man. But we're getting ready to get into an existence. You got to wonder what time really matters. Like what you got with Yahweh and the creator of all things, where time doesn't matter, time and space doesn't matter. When you get to that new earth, where time and space matter then, because you got eternal life. Yeah.
But this shit on that new earth, it shouldn't be days and stuff because ain't no really no sun, no moon, nothing like that. So it shouldn't be no days. Like we just living.
That's just in the new city of Jerusalem.
Okay.
Right? It didn't say that about everybody else.
So I mean, like, so we not gonna have days, but they gonna have days. Like
Well, they're gonna have days,
but we not gonna
but
have days.
we're talking about the new city of Jerusalem where the sun will never go down. That's for a purpose. But as far as days are concerned, we just have to wait and see because we don't know whether they're going to be part of the cycle of time. Like we won't be. But that's the question. Will we be going by a timeline with eternal life?
Why? Because it's terrible.
I would think we do, Elder, because we still gonna have to keep those holy days, right? So time gonna be involved in all that.
Well, the angels got to keep them too.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So when the time for the children of Israel to make their presence, the angels got to make their presence too.
So then you could be like 1 billion years old one day.
Who's going to be counting?
Can't keep up that.
No, we talking about eternal life, right? So that there's no end to life.
But you got next year you keep the holy days, so you got to have the,
Well, yeah, the calendar,
right,
the schedule,
so it means
right?
so
Well,
be there to keep
it won't change more than what it's doing now. So you know what time of season to have these things in, right? So when the season comes up, then you keep the holiday during that season, right? But the question is, will we look at time the same way? Everything's on schedule when it comes to the holidays, right? You celebrate these holidays at certain times of the year, and there'll be harvest days, right? That's what the holidays are based on, the harvest days. So there has to be some type of time that you have the harvest to plant the seed and have the harvest like we did on Earth, on the old Earth. So will we be governed by time because of those holy days?
Yeah, I agree with you, brother. We're gonna look at different because right now he said what we know in part and see in part, right?
Right.
So we like you said, all this in the book. We read this book from cover to cover. It's still things that's ahead of us we don't know about.
I know,
Yeah,
it's still a mystery, but see, sometimes Yahweh, on the way of our reading, He might show us a little something that we that had never considered before. We read it all the time, but Yahweh telling you, look at that again.
yeah. Like you said about I was amazed, brother. Like you said about Eli and Samuel.
Uh
We've
huh.
been reading that thing from now on, and the Spirit brought that to you.
Yeah.
Who was actually talking to that boy?
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was just thinking, like, if you're gonna be planting seed, that's like reproducing crops and stuff like that. Why would we not reproduce? Because the reproduction is like planting seed. I mean, I know we have new body and I'm but like if the earth is still reproducing, the earth we're gonna be on, it's gonna be reproducing. Why would we not? If you gotta take to the part where here, like, because that's planting seed, and like so why would we plant seed if they're not, and then we still plant seed in the earth, why would we plant seed, if it's reproducing? It's kind of like
Well, in order for seed to produce, you got to have a sun,
right.
right? But as far as agriculture is concerned, the sun can't stay up there all day. Now, it's got to have a nighttime. You got to have a moon during that time. So they have a problem. They play a part in agriculture. So there has to be some sense of timing just for agricultural purposes. All right. But you're looking at eternal life. Um, it's just be an ongoing cycle of growth and harvesting. Because and plus, you also got the tree of life there to maintain your life. So everything will be working so time. There has to be some sort of way to schedule this. We'll still be dealing with time, right? Even though we're timeless, we'll still be dealing with time. Okay. Go ahead, brother.
Isaiah chapter 54, verse 8. In a little wrath I hid my face from thee for a moment, but with everlasting kindness will I have mercy on thee, saith Yahweh thy Redeemer. But this is as the waters of Noah unto me. For as I have sworn that the waters of Noah should no more go over the earth, so have I sworn that I would not be wroth with thee, nor rebuke thee. For the mountains shall depart and the hills be removed, but my kindness shall not depart from thee, neither shall the covenant of my peace be removed, saith Yahweh that have mercy on thee.
Mm-hmm.
O thou afflicted, tossed with tempest and not comforted. Behold, I will lay thy stones with fair colors, and lay thy foundations with sapphires.
Mm-hmm.
And I will make thy windows of agates, and thy gates of carbuncles, and all thy borders of pleasant stones. And all thy children shall be taught of Yahweh, and great shall be the peace of thy children.
Mm-hmm.
In righteousness shall thou be established. Thou shalt be far from oppression,
Mm-hmm.
for thou shalt not fear, and from terror, for it shall not come near thee.
Mm-hmm.
Behold, they shall surely gather together, but not by me. Whosoever shall gather together against thee shall fall for thy sake.
Mm-hmm.
Behold, I have created the smith that blow up the coals and the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work, and I have created the waster to destroy.
Mm-hmm.
No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper, and every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment thou shalt condemn. This is the heritage of the servants of Yahweh, and their righteousness is of me, saith Yahweh.
In verse 15, it says, Behold, they shall surely gather together, but not by me. Whosoever shall gather together against thee shall fall for thy sake. Now, at what point will this happen? Now, we know that he's bringing his people back into the land. And so somehow somebody's going to be gathered against them.
Magog and Magog.
Nadab,
God
Hey,
and
some God
Magog.
and Magog.
Gog and Magog, yeah. And Ezekiel 38, 39. That would be Gog and Magog bringing all those nations against Jerusalem at the end of that 1,000 years, because Satan will be let out of that pit and go and deceive the nations again. So yeah, that'll be Gog and Magog. Because it says, "Behold, they shall surely gather together, but not by me." That'll be by Satan. "Whosoever shall gather together against thee shall fall for thy sake." That'll be destruction with fire and brimstone. "Behold, I have created a smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work. And I have created a master, the waster to destruction." That'll be, again, the fire and brimstone that Yahweh got prepared for those armies come up there. It says, "No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper, and every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment thou shalt condemn. This is the heritage of the servants of Yahweh, and of righteousness is of me, saith Yahweh." So you cannot speak against Yahweh's servants. If you speak against a servant, you're speaking against him. You can't do that.
So in verse 17, that would take place in the kingdom.
What, this here? Verse 17?
Talk about every tongue that shall rise against you in judgment, you shall condemn. When would that happen?
It says, "No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper, and every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment thou shalt condemn." Because you ain't got no business talking about us like that.
Yeah, so I'm saying, so when would that take place? Like,
that'll be during the kingdom of heaven.
Oh.
Because you're still going to have wickedness, you're going to have death and hell still on the scene. Even though Satan's on lockdown for 1,000 years, it still be people still be able to die. They'll die at very old age, but at a very advanced age, but it's because of their own sin. And that's why it's so important that the rest of the nations be taught Yahweh's law, because they got to come under Yahweh's law, because they're not his people. And so somebody got to teach these people Yahweh's law so that they can be forgiven, because they're going to make some innocent mistakes, errors that still have to have blood atoned for their sins. And again, that would be during that 1,000 years. Now, after the 1,000 years up, the new heaven and new earth created, you won't need an animal sacrifice anymore. No more blood has to be shed, because there will be no more sin. There will be no more death. So that's a whole new. You're going to have a whole new mindset. That's nobody can die anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you live?
Mm.
How do you look at things now? If you get sick, you got the trees of life over there. You just bite in one of them fruits, or bite into a leaf, you be good to go. So what is that like, to not fear death? Man has never known that. So there'll be something very, very new that you don't have to be. If we make it there, Yahweh willing, then we would never have to fear death again. Now, will we continue to grow though? I mean, will our body still change as we continue to live eternally? So, what is old age then? If you can live 1,000 years, when you become old?
Mm.
See, a question, because you can't get too old and die. You're living forever, but will your body change as you continue to age? And that's a question. We just have to wait and see, because we don't have any concept of living forever. Does the body change as you continue to live forever, like it does now? When you're limited, you from a baby, you're growing up to a teenager, to adulthood, to old age. But you won't have to be concerned about all that, because you're going to be already grown in the kingdom on that new earth. There'll be grown people. Now, you're not going to have a little 5-year-old child living forever, staying a 5-year-old child, right? There has to be a growth. So we don't know how that's going to work out. So during 1,000 years, you're still going to have babies, right? So at the end of 1,000 years, I guess all those babies got to be grown. They stop procreating, so to be ready to go to that new earth. I'm going to stop here and open the floor for questions. Does anyone have any questions before we dismiss? Yeah. But what does that look like? So say for instance, that's my point. At some point, they got to stop having the babies. So then babies that's already had it have a generation to grow up into a grown person, right? Because like you can't have a 5-year-old living forever. How can he grow if he's living forever? And when will he stop growing? At what age will he stop growing? Right. So there had to be a timeline between we going to that new earth and the end of the 1,000 years going to that new earth. Before that 1,000-year end, that it got birth's got to stop. So the one that already born, say 20 years before, they have a chance to grow up into adulthood. If you're born right at the time of the change, you're still a baby forever. See, I mean, it's got to be some kind of mechanism so that everybody is a grown person by the time the new heaven, new earth created. Okay. Now, we don't have all the answers yet, but you see this is just me, all right, and this is my reasoning, it's fleshly reason, but I don't see any way you got to be logical about how this thing's gonna go out, because everybody's gonna have eternal life. You got to have a medium age range to live forever, so it can make sense. You won't be too young to live forever. So there's got to be a time when you will be at a certain age of adulthood. That would be the time that you be on that new earth. Ain't gonna be no children born on that new earth. Right. Well, I imagine they'll be forewarned and let them know, yeah, you got 2 years before you can have that baby. Better hurry up and get on it. Yeah. Yes.
There's an issue that a lot of people are having when it comes to the new heaven and the new earth scenario, that they can't believe that there'll be no sexes, like male or female.
Now, I wouldn't go that far. I did at one time because I didn't see it since man won't, there will be no procreation on that new earth. So my point was, what's the point of having women there? Now, I thought about that a little bit more because a lot of sisters got upset with me when I said that. But the women, if they're going to be women there, they're going to have to be repurposed.
Right.
Because right now they're made just to have babies. But what we can do is look at what was the original purpose of a woman. Helpmate.
Yeah.
So she'll have to be repurposed to be just a helpmate if she's going to be there. She got to be a helpmate to the man. You won't be able to have sex with her, and so she can't get pregnant,
right,
because that entails some type of blood coming out of her. You can't defile the land with blood, right? So she has to be repurposed to fit her original purpose, and that was really to help me for the man. That's the only way I can see it right now.
Yeah.
It could be, I could be totally different. So yeah, I'm looking at that. Yeah, original purpose for her to be to help me for the man. Yes, my dear.
Isaiah 41 and 27.
Isaiah chapter 21?
Isaiah 41.
41? 41 and what?
27.
Oh, 27.
Is that whole verse talking about Yeshua?
Let's see here. Verse 27?
Yes, sir.
It said, the first shall say to Zion, behold, behold them, and I will give to Jerusalem one that bringeth good tidings. Well, that second part of that verse is talking about the Mashiach.
Okay, so Zion is still Jerusalem there?
Yeah, Jerusalem, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then 16 and 4.
Isaiah 16 and 4. All right, let's take that. It says, lift up thine eyes around about and see all they gather themselves together. they come to thee. Thy sons shall come from far, and thy daughters shall be nursed by thy side. What is the question about that?
About the daughters being nursed.
The what?
The daughters being nursed.
Daughters being nursed.
The last part of that verse.
And thy daughter shall be nursed at thy side. This is when a baby is nursing at the breast, right? So what's going to happen is they're going to be nursed by you being in there, being back in their land, and the nursing part will come as we continue to read this chapter. Become from the Gentiles, from the kings and the queens of the Gentiles. They'll be your nursing fathers, nursing mothers.
So they're like servants?
To you, yeah. You'll be ruling over kings. Well, your husband will be.
So that's like that's another way of saying that they are servants, not really nursing the child, right?
Say that again.
I said, is that referring to more of a servant versus them actually nursing the child?
Yeah, it's just being a servant.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all. I mean, you look at the way the prophets prophesied, it's symbolism and metaphoric and all those things that don't necessarily point exactly what they're saying. So you have to look at, for instance, with Isaiah, he's always speaking in agricultural terms. So you got to apply that to what you know about what's written in the book of the law and in the prophets, right? So when he talks about, for instance, the Mashiach talks about the wheat and the tares, he's talking about people, right? So the wheat and the tares, again, they're agricultural terms. We had to break that down to the disciples because they didn't know what he was talking about, right? Is there anything else there? All right. Both of y'all here?
One quiet.
And both of them smiling at me. Are there any more questions? No, well, let's see what's on chat. I have a Cujo Goody on YouTube at the top. Shabbat Shalom, brother Cujo Goody. No. Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, brother Abraham. You see how silly your son is, Elder. Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, brother Kemuel. Shabbat Shalom, Gregor Rucker. Shabbat Shalom, sister Naraya. Shabbat Shalom, Luna Red Wolf. Shabbat Shalom, brother Mickey Anderson. Shabbat Shalom, brother Alahayam, sister Malaka. Shabbat Shalom, Humble Rollers. Can you explain Zechariah 5 and 9? Let's see what that says. 5 and 9 said, then lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, there came two women, and the wind was in their wings, for they had wings like the wings of a stork, and they lifted up the ephah between the earth and the heaven. Well, let's keep this in context here. Let's pick this up in Zechariah 5 and verse 5, read down to the end of that chapter. It says in verse 5, then the angel that talked with me went forth and said unto me, and lift up thine eyes and see what is this that goeth forth. And he said, what is it? And I said, what is it? And he said, this is an ephah that goeth forth. He said, moreover, this is the resemblance through all the earth. And behold, there was lifted up a talent of lead, and this is a woman that sitteth in the midst of the ephah. And he said, this is wickedness. And he cast it out into the midst of the ephah, and he cast a weight of lead upon the mouth thereof. Then lifted I up mine eyes and looked, and behold, there came out two women, and the wind was in their wings, and in their for they have wings like the wings of a stork, and they lifted up the ephod between the earth and the heaven. Then said I to the angel that talked with me, whether do these bear the ephod? And he said to me, unto me, to build it a house in the land of Shinar, and it shall be established and set there upon her own base. So in verse 9, you may be referring to these two women with wings on their back. These are angels. These are angelic beasts. They're not the angels like Michael and Gabriel. These are beasts because you look at, for instance, the vision of Isaiah in chapter 6 when he saw the seraphims. Those are angelic beasts. When you look at Ezekiel and the cherubims he saw, those were angelic beasts. When you go up into the book of Revelation, chapter 5, we look at the four beasts that sat around the throne, saying, Holy, 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 Elohim Almighty. Those are angelic beasts. So you got angelic beasts up in heaven. And so these two women with the wings of a stork, they're angelic beasts. The basic definition of an angel is a messenger. But these two women here, with wings on their back, are taking the ephod with wickedness in the midst of it to Babylon. And that's what Shinar is, Babylon. Okay. So I hope that helped you out. Who's that? Oh, the Humble Rollers. Again, Shabbat Shalom, Humble Rollers. Shabbat Shalom, Elder Tobiah. Shabbat Shalom, Brother Yaakov and Israel. Shabbat Shalom, Susie Garman. Shabbat Shalom, Rachel by Israel. Shabbat Shalom, Melinda Curry. Shabbat Shalom, Elder Mick. Shabbat Shalom, Sister Amelia Pennington, Meshach's wife. Shabbat Shalom, Elder Priest, and family tuning in from Barbados. Praise y'all. See, that's what I'm glad we got yourself. Man. He's a roller. He's a high roller, making big money. So we look at Brother yourself. He's in Barbados, Steve. You know where Barbados is?
All I know is one of them islands. I don't have a clue.
Anybody know where Barbados is?
It's in the Caribbean.
In the Caribbean? Okay.
We had back in the day when you came up there. We had a couple of brothers from Barbados. I think it was
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
We had them from man. We had them all. Them little sticks out there in the ocean. We had everybody from the island.
Yeah, we had at least 7 days there from the Caribbean. That's where it came with.
What they at now? I'm not good enough.
Yeah, shot on there as Gentile and travel all over the world now. I think they want to play a sick out.
Yeah, those are nice brothers. Praise Yah, Shabbat Shalom, brother yourself. Hope you're having a good time in Barbados. Shabbat Shalom. Let's see here. Shabbat Shalom, Benaiah, brother Benaiah. Shabbat Shalom, Israel Yasharada. Shabbat Shalom, Thomas J. Miller. Shabbat Shalom, brother Alahayim ben Yasharada. Shabbat Shalom, brother Adrian Davis. Shabbat Shalom, Josh Jason. Are you putting this in here? It said, my people shall know my name.
Yeah, I was reading.
Oh, okay. Shabbat, let's see here. Shabbat Shalom, Jimmy O'More. Shabbat Shalom, Josh Jason. Shabbat Shalom, Yahshua Israel. Shabbat Shalom, Wanda M. Shelton. Shabbat Shalom, Brother Exodus. Yeshua. I appreciate that. They said, may his name be forgotten. That's what Yeshua means. Yeah, Brother Exodus just posted this up here. It says something like, may his name be forgotten. That's what Yeshua means. Yeah. Oh, no, it was in that Jewish encyclopedia. That's where I got that from. Yeah. Shabbat Shalom Morning Crisp. Shabbat Shalom Q-Real. Shabbat Shalom, somebody named Bertha Harris on here. Shabbat Shalom, who wants to know? Do your congregation use the Apocrypha writings? And what about the name Yahweh? See, there's another. And Yahwishi. There are so many different names, different ones. I understand what you're saying, my brother, but those are internet names. Yahweh's name was already in the earth before the internet. As far as the Apocrypha goes, we do not use the Apocrypha mainly because it doesn't line up with the Bible. You don't hear anybody in the Apocrypha talking about eternal life. What they call the Old Testament and New Testament, you're talking about eternal life. You don't hear about the Apocrypha talking about resurrection. The only good thing about the Apocrypha is the last two books of the Apocrypha called First and Second Maccabees. It tells you the transition from the Persian Empire. From the Persian Empire to the Greek Empire to the Roman Empire. That gives you connection because between Malachi, which was under the Persian Empire, and Matthew was on the Roman Empire, you had the Greek Empire, where we don't have any scripture telling us about the Greek Empire, except for maybe in Daniel, he brushes up against it, but nevertheless, he was living in the Persian Empire. Yes, sir. Yahweh Shah, that's another one. Yahwishi, that's Yahweh Shah. What? What did I say? Yahwishi, that's not pronouncing it wrong. Y'all trying to correct me? I ain't listening. Yeah, that's what I see. Yahweh Shah. Yeah, well, I want to be correct now because they're looking at me. That you don't even know how to talk. But I mean, I'm looking at it naturally as I would, but they got a special pronunciation for it. Yahweh Shah. It sounds like a SHA at the end. Yeah. Yeah. Like, huh? Here? Oh, the left here? They use that name now? I tell you, bro, when you leave here, you lose everything. Yeah. No, brother, who wants to know? We don't use the Apocrypha. What we do though is make sure if you're gonna read the Apocrypha, be grounded in His Bible first, and then you read the Apocrypha for recreational reading, if you like. But there's some contradictions in the Apocrypha and in the Bible. So in the Apocrypha, you have what they call the Book of Enoch. Well, they can't prove that Enoch wrote that book. So those are the contradictions that we have with the Apocrypha. That's why we don't use it. We make sure we understand what this Bible is saying first. It says, yeah, but we stick with Yahweh and Yahshua. Those are the names that were in the earth before the internet. Again, those are internet names because they weren't around when we calling on Yahshua, Yahweh. Who wants to know? I'm trying to build up my faith in driving to your congregation and fellowship with you. I've been saying this for a while now. Well, we still waiting on you, man. Come on down. He's coming from Alabama, isn't he? Yeah. I'm surprised one is still there. Shabbat Shalom, Judah ben Israel. Shabbat Shalom, Judah Yah. Shabbat Shalom, brother Abai ben Israel. Shabbat Shalom, Elder. I just turned in. If today is the first day of the week, why are we seeing a greeting of Shabbat Shalom? The Sabbath is the seventh day. Please address this issue. Well, it just so happens this particular week we're celebrating the Feast of Tabernacles. So this day is still a Sabbath. It is the last day of the Feast of Tabernacles, so it is a Sabbath. So we say Shabbat Shalom on this day too. We started celebrating the Feast of Tabernacles. When was that? Saturday night last week, and so here we are ending the Feast of Tabernacles, and so we still greet each other with Shabbat Shalom. So that's why we say that. It's in recognition of the Feast of Tabernacles. Let's see here. Brother wants to know who wants to know. So I'm confused now. Did Christ die for the whole world, or did he die for just Israel? I'm trying to understand this. Could you please explain? Well, let's go to First John. Let's let John explain it to you. In First John, listen what it says here. First John chapter 1 is, my little children, these things write I unto you, that you sin not. And if any man sin, we have an advocate with the Father, Yahshua HaMashiach, the righteous. He is the propitiation for our sins. And I said First John chapter 2. First John chapter 2, verse 1. My little children, these things write I unto you, that you sin not. And if any man sin, we have an advocate with the Father, Yahshua HaMashiach, the righteous, and he is the propitiation for our sins, and not for ours only, but also for the sins of the whole world. So I believe that's the answer you're looking for. Now, just because he did sin for the whole world doesn't mean that the whole world got to believe in it. It takes a belief. And when you look at, for instance, in Isaiah chapter 53, and verse 12, it says, therefore will I divide him. Well, it's just talking about the crucifixion too. It says, therefore will I divide him a portion with the great, and he shall divide the spoil with the strong, because he hath poured out his soul unto death, and he was numbered with transgressors, and he bare the sin of many, and made intercession for the transgressors. So he died for many, but that doesn't mean he died for everybody. Because first of all, they got to know who he is and how important he is. So Yahweh hadn't showed that to his own people, so I ain't gonna show it to the Gentiles. So I hope that helped with your confusion. Who wants to know? That was in First John chapter 2. All right, so that should answer your question. So remember, Paul said to the Jew first, and also to the Gentile. Shabbat Shalom, humble rollers. I think I explained Zechariah 5 and 9. Who wants to know? Have one more question? No, you don't. Do your congregation wear fringes? If not, why not? Numbers 15 and 38. What is the purpose of fringes? To remind you to keep the commandments. Now, let me ask you something. Who wants to know? Along with the fringes come phylacteries. Do you wear phylacteries? Or does anyone you know wear phylacteries? If you don't know what a phylactery is, you got to understand something. The law to wear phylacteries mentioned more times than the law to wear fringes. But I've never seen any friends wearing brothers with phylacteries. Some of them never even heard of phylactery. But again, they're being hypocritical, because when you run into them brothers, say, let me hear you say the Ten Commandments. They can't say them. So they're being hypocrites. They're not being serious about this. They just want the people to know I'm an Israelite because I wear fringes. Well, does that make the Indians Israelites because they wear fringes too? So well, I tell you what. Let's go to Matthew 23. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Now, listen to what the Mashiach thought about them fringes. In Matthew 23, verse 1, it says, then spake Yahshua to the multitude and to his disciples, saying, the scribes and Pharisees sit in Moshe's seat. All therefore whatsoever they bid you observe, that observe and do. But do not you after their works, for they say and do not. For they bind heavy burdens and grievous to be borne, and lay them on men's shoulders, but they themselves will not move them with one of their fingers. But all their works they do for to be seen of men. They make broad their phylacteries and enlarge the borders of their garments. Well, when he says enlarge the borders of their garments, he's talking about the fringes, right? But there's that word phylactery. Well, you see the word phylactery, it's not talking about the actual word, but what it is talking about putting the law between your eyes, your frontlets of your eyes, and around your fingers, your hands. You notice that in some of the people that the little hat people would been known to wear those little boxes on top of their foreheads and little boxes around their arm, and that what you would call a phylactery. And I have yet to see one fringe wearing brother uh, wearing a phylactery. Yeah,
They call that spiritual.
with the phylacteries.
They call, yeah, they use phylactery spiritual when you told me, well, same thing for the fringes.
Yeah, how come the fringes can't be spiritual? Yeah, see, this being hypocritical. Because not only do they not know the law, when you ask them what the law it says for this, what the law says for that, they don't know. It's just to be seen of men. That's all it is. So why be hypocritical when you got these commandments? Yahweh gave you the spirit to know this law, to know these commandments, right? So we can say that we got spiritual fringes around our hearts. What's the difference with spiritual phylacteries? So we don't want to be hypocritical, brother. Who wants to know? So what we do, if you notice on our Sabbath service, every Sabbath service, all the men of Israel recite the Ten Commandments. All right, and all of them said without most of them saying it without even reading the book. So that means they already know it in their heart. They know how it goes. It almost sounds like a song now. So they know exactly how to put stress on certain words and stress on other words. So not only we say these every Sabbath because it's the first covenant that Yahweh made with our fathers on Mount Sinai. Then we mention the second covenant, the new covenant that's mentioned in Jeremiah. So yeah, you don't need fringes to remind you of that if you already got it wrote in your heart. All right. So, but you look at the law. So let me ask you then: if you don't wear the fringes, what is the judgment for not wearing fringes? Do you get 40 stripes? What is the judgment? Do you have to come up with an animal sacrifice? Does blood have to be shed? What is the judgment? So yeah, I think Yahweh wants us to know the law ourselves. So wearing the fringes it wouldn't be necessary if we already know the law. If we read the law constantly, like I advise y'all to do, when you read the Torah, you read in the law, and you know what to do, what not to do, what to say, what not to say, and what to eat, what not to eat. That's your law. Do you wear fringes to celebrate that? This is just a culture. But you want to be seen of men, just like Mashiach said. They just want to be seen. Let me read that again. It says in verse 5, but all their works they do for to be seen of men. They make broad their phylacteries, enlarge the borders of their garments, and love the uppermost rooms at feasts, and the chief seats in the synagogues, and greetings in the markets, and to be called of men rabbi, rabbi. Well, yeah, that's being hypocritical. Because all you want to be is seen. And that's what a lot of them friends, brothers like to do. They want to be seen. We don't want to be seen. We want to be we don't want to be hypocritical like they are because they don't know the commandments. What's the point of the fringes if you don't know them? You make the commandment of non-effect. Yeah, we don't wear fringes, brother. I mean, we don't speak against them. If you want to wear them, you can wear them. Thank you, Head. No, he's serious. You look at the law, you see the garb of the priest. The priests do not wear fringes, right? So we got two things on our side as far as that's concerned. Because now we're keeping the law because now we become a nation of priests, right? So the Mashiach opened up that when he rose from the dead, the veil split open, didn't it? Wake that nigga up. Yeah. Yeah, you're old school deacon, bro. That's what they do, man. They sleep all day while the preacher preaching. Can tell you every word he said after you wake up. So again, I hope that helped you out, brother. Who wants to know? That's right. They must have stopped wearing the fringes to get kicked out of the land. That's why the Assyrians came in and took the northern kingdom out. They stopped wearing the fringes. That doesn't make sense. Rome destroyed Jerusalem in 7 AD because the Jews didn't wear their fringes.
Since you said brought that up about when they got the northern kingdom got kicked out the land, people talking about Yeshua dying for the sins of men in the world. So there was a different part of where we were in Jerusalem. So those were the saints who were covenant of Israel or Hebrew.
When you're talking about the sins of the world,
Yeah.
the world doesn't know what sin is. So they transgress the law ignorantly. But he died for them too. Okay. Because Yahweh is the one that made them ignorant. Right? But he revealed us what sin is. Okay, so that's the point of all this. Him dying for the sins of the world. But the world, first of all, they got to believe and have faith in that name. It doesn't ask you to keep the law, doesn't have you to do anything. Just have faith in just his name, and you shall be saved. Right? But they don't even know his name. The translator put all white people to death by changing the name of their Savior. So they'll be called on a Greek god instead of the Hebrew God. Well, I'm not going to say Hebrew God. The name of the Mashiach himself that was sent to save his people from their sins.
As far as the Gentiles go, with the sin ignorance, cover them because they believe in the person and the fact they just have their own mind. With the sin ignorance cover them, so they believe they under all man ignorantly. You know what I mean? And really, pretty much forcing for that man to obviously kill them one time. But it was ignorant, but they believe in the person and his acts and his teaching, but they don't, it's all ignorant.
Yeah, but
they fall in ignorance. Second part of the question, if they fall in ignorance, do our people fall in ignorance too?
well, my point is that they believe in Christ, but they leave out a key ingredient in their belief. That's the children of Israel, the Father and the children of Israel, because they made Christ a God himself. And that's wrong. So they got to answer for that too. The Catholic Church got to answer for that, for deceiving the whole nation, all the earth by that doctrine. So the question is, will they be judged because of their ignorance? Well, we got to sacrifice for that, don't we? Yeah. So the salvation depends on Yahweh. How you're going to judge these people. Now you look at the last 6 other commandments. Did these people observe those 6? Because the inspector observed the first 4, but did they observe the last 6? Now you could be judging according to that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, but you got a bunch of Gentiles that got the law in their hearts, right? But never heard of the Mashiach. You all right, man?
Yeah.
Never heard of it, right? So, and you got some places on earth never even seen us before. They ain't seen nobody darker than they are. So how would they be judged? All flesh got to be judged. And he didn't reveal this to everybody. So anybody that comes in contact with us in whatever way, they're going to be judged. But you got a nation that have never seen any of us, don't even know our story. But yet they keep the basic of the law from commandment from the last 6 commandments. They still do that. So how would they be judged, even though they don't know Yahweh? But naturally, and they got their conscience, the law within, like Paul said, They're without the law, but they have a law within them, right? So they still got to be judged, but how will Yahweh judge them? We don't know. But the Mashiach blood covered them too. Okay. That, all thing that he taught them, yeah. Yeah. Because he asked him, he said to him, if you love me, keep my commandments. He wasn't talking to everybody. He was talking to his disciples because they heard his commandment. They heard his law. All right. So if you love me, keep my law. Yeah. He was just talking to the disciples, though. Right. So we have no need for the comforter because we already got the whole story. Everything he taught, everything how the way his disciples reacted to him, the questions they asked him, and we see that after the Mashiach had risen up, that they began their ministry. They were once again apostles being sent forth. So they would do miracles, like for instance on the day of Feast of Weeks, they're speaking in other people's tongue. They heard it in other people's tongue, right? That's one of the miracles. Then they went around raising people dead, healing people. So that would be part of that spirit, that comforter that they would need in order for them to complete their ministry. Well, what you're seeing, what you're dealing with in that particular case is the law itself, the spirit of that law. You're walking in the spirit of the law, like Paul says in Romans chapter 8. You're walking in the spirit of the law. So when you see something that's affecting you, not only spiritually but physically, that means you're walking in the law, walking in the spirit of the law, because otherwise you wouldn't have been affected by it. Yeah, I hate that. Because you're thinking on Yahweh all day long at peace, then that flesh step in and say, nah, you ain't that good. So, yeah, you feel bad about it. I know what you're talking about. You feel bad about it, but that's your flesh. Yeah, you can't stop the flesh because you can't keep a constant mind. You keep mind constantly on Yahweh because of the flesh. Yeah, and you're ashamed if the flesh steps in. It takes away your peace and the feeling of peace of mind. It takes all that away. You got to start all over again. That's just to teach you to stay in your lane. Because you ain't gonna be good all the time. You're still flesh. Yeah, so that's something we have to wrestle with, just like Jacob wrestled that angel all night long. That's symbolic of what we're dealing with, right? We're wrestling something that's more powerful than us, the spirit. This flesh, huh? Yeah, Yahweh don't care about flesh. Well, he wrestled him all night up until the day. The angel said, "Let me go because the morning breaks." Right. So he won't let him go. Um, so what happens at night? Are you talking about at night when you sleep? Just nighttime. Yeah, well,
I'm not being too much into it.
yeah, it can be a little confusing how you deal with the flesh and the spirit. But being that Yahweh bring you up into this law, you know what's right and what's wrong. And you become disturbed when your mind is taken off of Yahweh. And so that shakes you up and mess up your whole day.
That's right.
Right. Right. Well, it's that spirit wrestles against your flesh, right? Because all the time you've been in the spirit, thinking about Yahweh, thinking about His goodness and His mercy, right? Then the flesh steps in. So no, 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 you still flesh, buddy. I'm gonna mess this whole day up for you. So that's something we have to wrestle with all our lives until the change comes. Right. Let's continue. Let's see. Let's see what's. Did I miss anybody? Okay, I got you. Shabbat Shalom, humble rollers again. Zechariah 5:5 and 9. We got that. Uh, I hope that help you out. Who wants to know? We don't, like I said, we don't tell you not to wear fringes. But if you do wear fringes, we're going to make sure you know at least the Ten Commandments. But if you don't come in with fringes, we don't have a problem with you. Shabbat Shalom, Brother Hodiah. Shabbat Shalom, Clarence Marks and Sister Alita. Shabbat Shalom, Roosevelt Petrie. Shabbat Shalom, who wants to know? I'm crying out for help, guidance, and understanding of all this. Well, just keep watching us, man. And go through our archives and look at some of our videos. We got videos of Sabbath services. We have videos of our history class. We have videos of our prophecy class, like we're on now. But you're not going to get this overnight, so don't get so frustrated. We've been doing this for a minute. We started NCCI in 1975, so we've been around for 50 years. So, and all that time, we learned a lot. And so you're just not getting started. So be patient and just keep watching us and keep asking us questions. I'll be glad to address them for you. Who wants to know? It's a commandment, but we'll see what elders say. Also, Deuteronomy 22:12, and all of Israel is not of Israel. Well, again, friends don't make you Israel. Right? That's a mistake people make. Your outside attire does not make who you are. That's foolishness. Because if white people are going to be saved, they've never been told to wear fringes. But white people can be saved too. So how are you going to justify white people being saved without wearing fringes? Because you can't put all your eggs in one basket as if you wear your fringes, you'll be saved. And if you wear your fringes, you don't commit no other sin. See, you think fringes make you sinless. No, they don't. You mind closing that door? Yeah, I know, but yeah, Jake don't know how to talk soft. But again, I wouldn't get that upset about not wearing fringes. Yahweh seemed forth to keep this congregation together for over 50 years, so it must be all right with Him too. Jake can't whisper. Where is that at? I've seen that.
Paul, you can want to Paul there.
What?
You can want to Paul letters, I think, because he said, don't, you're not to do outwardly, you're supposed to be inwardly.
Yeah, but you said don't judge about outward appearance. I've seen that. Don't judge anyone by their outward appearance. I don't know where I saw that. Well, let's see here. It says Deuteronomy 22 and verse 12. I think it's talking about the fringes too. Huh? Yeah, okay. Again, that the fringes will not save you. You're saved by grace, right? So you keep all the commandments you want, but that does not make you sinless. So again, you wear that fringe, you put so much importance on the fringes, but you act like that's the only way you're going to be saved is to wear fringes.
You know what else?
Uh,
That woman had that infirmity. She was bleeding. She said, if I may but touch the hem of his garment. She didn't say nothing about no fringes.
well, that's what they think it is. Some of them brothers say he was wearing the fringes that day.
But it is.
Yeah.
Elder, that's in John 7:24.
What?
John 7:24.
John 7:24.
Also, they say she touched his fringes.
Yeah, that's what they say.
Well, you got to work getting out of that, ain't
Yeah, well, that's the point, man. They, like we said before, one the fact that they didn't wear fringes when the Assyrians took them out of the land wasn't because they weren't wearing fringes. What did you say, John? What now?
7,
John 7. What?
verse 24.
I believe it's talking about the tabernacle. Let's see. Verse 24. Judge not according to the appearance, but judge righteous judgment. Well, you can't just bring that out. There got to be some context of why he said that, right? So let's go pick it up a few more verses. Verse 20. It said, the people answered and said, thou hast a devil who goeth about to kill thee. Yahshua answered and said unto them, I have done one work, and you all marvel. Moshe therefore gave unto you circumcision, not because it is of Moshe, but of the fathers, and you on the Sabbath day circumcise a man. If a man on the Sabbath day receives circumcision, that the law of Moshe should not be broken, are you angry at me because I have made a man every whit whole on the Sabbath day? Judge not according to appearance, but judge righteous judgment. So you got to keep it in the context of what he's saying. So he wasn't talking about physical appearance, fringes at the least. So he was talking about you judge this man because I healed him on the Sabbath day. You circumcise a man on the Sabbath day. What's the difference?
Yeah, they put glue on you. You put a healing on.
Yeah, yeah. I thought of petty back in them days, man. So you got the same spirit today of pettiness. Let's see here. Again, Abaya, like I say, these people that wear the fringes, they wear them according to the law, but their heart ain't in it because they don't know the law. They don't know the commandments. So they make the law of non-effect. So what would you rather be? Hypocrite that wear fringes, a person of truth that have the law already in them? Yes.
How about 1 Samuel 16:7?
What now?
1 Samuel 16:7.
1 Samuel 16. 1 Samuel 16:7. And 7. But Yahweh said unto Samuel, look not on his countenance or on the height of his stature, because I have refused him. For Yahweh saith not as man seeth, for man looketh on the outward appearance, but Yahweh looketh on the heart. That what we're talking about? Yeah, that's it.
That's a good one.
So let me read that to you again, you friends, and brothers. In verse, this is 1 Samuel chapter 16, verse 7. But Yahweh said unto Samuel, look not on his countenance or on the height of his stature, because I have refused him. For Yahweh seeth not as man seeth, for man looketh on the outward appearance, but Yahweh looketh on the heart. Now I need to read this book a little bit more often. But Abaya said, oh, that's right. Today is the Sabbath. My bad. I was thinking, my apology for even asking. Todah. Shabbat Shalom. Again, Brother Abaya, oops, today is a Sabbath of Tabernacles. My bad, okay? Shalom, Elder Azariah. Who wants to know? Elder, I have one more. No, you don't. I have one more question. So what is the true name of Jesus? And do we have to be baptized in his name? Heavens, no. His true name is Yahshua. It was impossible for them to pronounce the name Jesus back in them days, because the J wasn't around until about 400 or 500 years ago. So you got to ask him what did they call him before they changed his name. His name was Yeshua. Okay. And besides, this man was born king of the Jews. Why would he have a Greek name? It doesn't make sense. Jesus is Greek. Yeshua is Hebrew. And it was a common name back in those days. So yeah, who wants to know his name is Yeshua? Again, go to our website. It explains everything that we believe. But about all Israel is not Israel. Yahweh's commandments speak for itself. Okay. Yeah. Is that the last part of this question? Yeah, you got to be baptized in the name of Yahshua. You can't be baptized in the name of Jesus. That's not going to help you. All right, that's a different name. It's a different God. Yeah.
I was trying to explain somebody, about being baptized, some people baptized in the spirit. So I talked to part of the class, I was baptized years ago, and Jesus and Holy Father, Son, Holy Ghost don't matter. He did not be baptized Christian, like they don't count them. They have to be baptized. So they would have to live with this. People that think they were baptized, I think they think that they took the account, but they have to be baptized, right?
If they baptized without being immersed.
I mean, they were the ones that were baptized in water, they were baptized in Jesus. And the
Oh yeah, they got to be baptized over again. Yeah, they got to be baptized in the true name. Because there ain't but one name under heaven by that man can be saved. And so you can't can't be saved with a false name. So you worship the white man God. So the white man ain't got no God at all. Yeah. All right, let's continue here. Brother, who wants to know? IUIC has congregations all over the world. That's true. I try to be a part of that congregation, but those brothers are strict and rough. I learned something, but I couldn't hang with them. This is my first time hearing about that. So now I got an eyewitness to say it's not appetizing to be with these brothers. Brother Cujo Goody, praise Yah, excellent explanation of the seeds of Yahshua. Those that are baptized in Yahshua's name are born again. Praise Yah. Shalom, Brother Sikkim Ben Israel. Shalom, Yashar is love. Shabbat Shalom, Yashar is love. Shabbat Shalom, Ricky Clover Jr. Shabbat Shalom, who wants to know? A great lesson, great class. I'm enjoying it. Praise Yah. Keep on checking us out, man. Shabbat Shalom, Yahweh Song. Shabbat Shalom, Brother Baya. 1 Corinthians 2, verse 9. Well, I mean, what about it? You just throw that up there. What you want me to do with it? Is it supposed to show me something? But as is written, I have not seen nor ear heard, neither have entered into the heart of man the things which Elohim have prepared for men that love him. What's the point of that? Are you trying to show us something? Why don't you put that up there? Because you put that up there, but you don't put anything with it. Do you want to know something about that? You want me to break that down for you? I don't understand. What do you want? Something retarded said Shabbat Shalom. No, this is what's on the screen, all right? So, I don't come up with these names, man. That's what the guy calls himself, something retarded. So I said Shabbat Shalom to something retarded. It sounds strange. Almost like in Numbers when talk about Balaam and that ass. You can play with that thing all day. Shabbat Shalom, Terry Outlaw. Shabbat Shalom, Timmy Turner. Shabbat Shalom, Jenny Jones. That's Hezekiah's mother. Bus driver Hezekiah. Yeah. Mother Ruth. I hope you're doing all right, Mother. Shabbat Shalom, Christine Crossland. Shabbat Shalom, Brother Adawan Ben Yasharala. Shabbat Shalom, Mother Ruth. Elder, who is Yahusha? I don't know. Yeah, it's an internet name, Mother. You've been baptized in the name of Yahshua, so you should be concerned about that. but you got some people trying to promote internet names. These names were not around before the internet. Uh, let's see here. Brother Alahayim, the great class, praise Yah. Who wants to know since 2015, when I found out that I was an Israelite, I've been trying to tell my wife, but she don't want to hear it. She Christian. Well. That is the bane of all brothers coming to the truth. They realize they're married to a Christian woman at that time, and she's not going to change. So yeah, you're gonna have trouble, my brother. I'm sorry that you're just not finding out. I imagine if you had found out before, you would have not married that woman. But you married her because you loved her. You probably didn't really care that much about what you were hearing in the church. But once that truth came upon you, now you want to learn more, but your wife don't. So what do you do around Christmas time? Do you bring a tree in the house? Because she gonna want that tree. She gonna want her gifts too. So yeah, I don't feel like the Lone Ranger, my brother. There's a lot of brothers out there that are married to Christian wives that don't want to follow their husband. They've never been told to follow their husband. Now there used to be a vow in the wedding of a Christian that the wife would obey her husband. They don't say that no more. The last time they had a video now that the preacher said, you agree to obey your husband. She looked at that preacher like he crazy. Me? Me? Obey my husband? That's strange to a black woman. She will never obey her husband. And I'm pretty sure some of these brothers out here already know that they're married to women that will not obey what the husband tells them to do. That's what you call a Christian. So I'm sorry y'all married to them. I praise y'all that I didn't have a wife when I found this truth. It would have ended up the same way anyway. Yeah.
That's the question. Some Christians in the Jew, right? The man, anyway, he still allows that woman to bring that tree in his house. He's still going to be accountable.
Yeah. You got to answer for that sin. That tree is a god. So he let another god in his house, but he don't know how to handle it because he's scared of his wife. Yeah. A lot of these brothers out here scared of their wives, man. And wives know it. Right. So they take advantage of that fear. Now, I'm not going to tell a brother how to be a husband, but I'm letting you know what the real deal is. Your wife know you scared of her. Yeah.
That's the thing.
I know, but what are you going to do? He wants to have maintain peace in the household, and she ain't gonna let him do it as long as he talking crazy Hebrew talk.
He lost her respect, bro.
Just so he's trying to make peace in the house. So he let her bring that tree in the house. He go out and get the tree himself. You better get a tree up in here soon.
You lose woman respect, you might well go out there and go hard.
Now, see, that's easy. That's easy for you to say, Steve.
Now, it ain't no problem with me. I'm 72 years old. If I were with a woman now, hey, do what you want to do. I got to go.
Yeah.
Young boy, baby. No, I ain't with that.
Yeah.
That's the point.
I'm sorry. Who wants to know, man? You got your hands full now, brother. He said, I need a new wife. Well, I'm not going to say anything else to that because I don't want you to influence. I want to influence you what you should do. All right, I'll let the Spirit show you what you should do. If you want a new wife, you're not going to find her here in America. I'm going to tell you that now. You might need to wait, and because America's on the way out, and we got to leave here, so you might want to wait before you get rid of her and get you a new wife. And this time, get a real woman that's going to obey you. Right? Isn't that what the law says in Genesis chapter 3? He said, your desire shall be to your husband, and he shall rule over you. Black women don't agree with that.
Well, you have to do something I don't agree with. You have to cross racial lines to get a woman that obeys you.
It's sad. It's really sad, bro.
You want to get one this side, one
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's a predicament we're in. We want to stick with our woman, but don't nobody want to be with these crazy black women. because there's always some dramatic going on, and that they can't have no kind of peace. They got to have some kind of turmoil in the household. And so I'm sorry you're mad to her, but praise y'all, I ain't. Shabbat Shalom, Julius Brown. Shabbat Shalom, Mikhail. Shabbat Shalom. Let's see, Elder. The Bible stated that we will eat our bread defiled. Is that because our enemies will intentionally defile clean food if unclean food? I think you're getting that mixed up with Ezekiel when he was made a sign to the children of Israel while they were going into captivity under the Babylonians that they were going to eat, the bread was going to be defiled in the land that they would spread to. So what he did was he told Ezekiel to make bread out of his own excrement. Right? Ezekiel said, "Wait a minute, I'm a priest. I can't defile myself like that, right?" So he said, "Get cow's manure." But when you say that defile clean food with unclean food, yeah, you can look at it. Our experience here is like that. As a matter of fact, the food is what's making us sick. But they have to work in concert with the pharmaceuticals so they can have the medicine for you when you get sick. And the pharmaceuticals have to work in concert with the hospitals. So when the hospital, when the drug don't help, just put you in the hospital. And so the next place you're going to end up is a mortuary. Yeah. Yeah, well, that's part of the prophecies, Brother Mikhail. So yeah, we're eating defiled bread now. Susie Gum, I correct myself. Shabbat Shalom, Elder El Reese. She misspelled. She misspelled it. Who wants to know, Elder? I want you to baptize me. Well, we got brothers that are assigned to that task. I don't mind baptizing you, but Deacon, I'm in there when you get baptized. Let me put it that way. But yeah, whether I baptize you, one of my deacons baptize you, you still be a member of the congregation. Let's see, Elder Priest, Shabbat Shalom, Susie Garman, Shabbat Shalom, Q. Her pastor is her answer to everything. That's right. Them Christian women, they don't believe nothing the husband say. So she go to the pastor because he's the one closest to God. You're right about that, Curiel. Who wants to know, I don't celebrate the holidays anymore. Praise God. I told her not to bring Christmas stuff in this house. That's a brave man. You're a brave man who wants to know. That's a brave man. Actually, tell the wife, don't you bring that stuff up in here.
Yeah, right.
You still ain't got here, though, bro. All right. That's all I have. Okay. I'm going to start right here. Facebook, YouTube. I'm going to close out. I'm going to give you 5 seconds to get me another question or comment in. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, let's go and shut it down. Again, thank you, Facebook. Thank you, YouTube. We had, let me repeat that we had a very good Feast of Tabernacles all week long. We had fellowshipping all around. We had good food that some of us never ate that much food before. So we've been eating every day. Good food. I mean, it's delicious food. I couldn't eat all my food last night because I ate 2 sloppy joes early in the day. So. Yeah. But again, join us for our history class on the 3rd day, which is Tuesday night at 8:00 p.m. And who wants to know? See if you can make your way up here. Check out our website first. You put it up now, didn't you, Zach? Yeah, you check out our website. See what we're about, and see if you want to be part of this family because we're family oriented. All right, we got married people with families up in here, so we got that. We got married people with families up here than anybody else, so we praise Yahweh for that. I believe we got more elders up in here than anybody else. So we thank Yahweh for that. But again, that's just us. We're a small congregation. We're not international like IUIC, but we just regular folks that Yahweh called to hear His word and react to it.